Alright, guys. So begins episode 27, Purple Haze of Heroes of the Green Star. Welcome back, all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh, your hair's the color that I want my hair to be.
Right then.
Our heroes from my left to right is Ness Stormborn, right? Stormborn. Level 7 War Priest of Bahamut. Then there's Debbie with an exclamation mark, so pronounced Debbie!
You're welcome.
Pistol Arrow Assassin. Got Rick Danger, the Forest Ranger and newfound Bard of the Forest. I don't know. You gotta give me more when you come up with what kind of music style you think Rick is going to start finding himself into.
Need the script, I can't just be Rick Danger, Dick Ranger, anywhere.
We got Jinx, the Circle of the Moon Druid.
Sup, buddy?
Garen and Gyrix, gnome summoner and his pet dragon.
Oh,
So, I think you've all read the recap. You remember that we, after, just bring up the last scene of it. Maybe turn this down just one notch. So in the last scene, it was late morning on the Friday, same Friday as the show. You had made your way to Fatal Fashions. Rick and Garen were outside and watched as Tabaxi, albino Tabaxi, had walked in past you into the shop. The rest of you were in there with Jezebella, the snobbish tanned high elven shopkeeper, and her two assistants, Shatrice and Shara. When it was made clear that the party had no money to spend and a concert to catch, they set into action. Debbie found a shiny black and purple jumper with frills,
Oh yeah.
a la Prince and Freddie Mercury. While Ness found a silvery green iridescent vest with a hood. That's right. After a long montage, in which Jinx tried on almost everything in the store, she finally settled on wearing a combination of several outfits, layered and with many pockets in various grays and browns, costing the most out of the three outfits.
Thanks, dude. The universe provides.
And just as you were revealed in this new outfit and Debbie was being given the bill, the cost of everything, which I think we had worked out already at the time how much, that is when an albino tabaxi with some simple robes walked in and just looked you up and down and said, "Oh, friend, you look marvelous. And you must be Debbie. I am Zaza." Sven gives his regards.
What are you talking, Sven? Yes, oh Sven, yes. We know Sven, right? As Debbie dips behind. She just steps back. Don't know what to talk about.
I visited Sven over at the madhouse. He's a friend of mine. He told me he had a visit from a detective, Detective Zerelius, I believe. Something about a fine.
No idea what you're talking about.
Lying to a police officer.
So, like, I forgot to grab some gloves, so I'm just gonna go talk to the...
Debbie, you need to go talk to Sven at some point. Sort it out with him. You speak lies and disguise yourself as him? No. We're not going to let you do that. He'll come out of the grim... what was it? The grim retreat.
I thought you couldn't leave once he was in. I thought that was part of it.
They can choose to. It's more like a permanent vacation that can end at some point.
Philosophy is weird, Ben.
But you, darling, you look marvelous. I like what you've done with your hair. She starts picking at the little bits and bobs in there.
Mushrooms. Mushrooms.
So, I finally found you. Marigot spoke highly of you, even though. I hear you're going to the concert tonight.
Yes.
Good. I am going with you. I want to tag along. I already have a ticket, and I have a backstage pass. What? I can get you to meet the band. Sound like fun?
Oh.
We got nothing better to do.
Do they like poison?
Excuse me?
The band. She means the band. She's really into Poison the band.
Yeah.
Not familiar with them. Oh,
They're righteous, man. They're so righteous.
I didn't know so many climbers were hipsters, but I guess it's a stereotype.
100%. Oh.
So, you finish up your business with Isabella and pay out for your outfits. I assume, are you wearing your, I mean, you're kind of in cities right now. I think you had left the house in more cities to go about shopping. But are you wearing your new outfits right now, or are you saving them for later? It's still late morning.
Later. I feel like that's smart. We should go back and drop off her stuff and get all suited up. Do you think?
Mhm.
You don't have enough drugs on you, nearly enough to get through the night.
That's true.
Drugs?
Whoopsie doodle.
Oh no, I mean I'm fine with drugs. You do many drugs? What are you
Yeah.
into?
Anything, really. I am not very picky. I got some poison at some belladonna. What else do I have? I can't even remember. I got so much.
I got the right thing for the concert. She pulls out from under her vest. There's a vial that's attached to a gold chain, and the vial itself is fairly large, and it seems to have something growing on the inside. And no, it's not sparkly or anything. But yeah, there's something black and growing on the inside there. Some mushrooms for later. This would be a good trip.
Thank you.
But Trinity, do you have anything on you?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah, she go outside, so we're gonna pick our noses here.
How much do I have prepared? No, I don't even know.
She's mostly asking what you have.
Oh, what I have? Where is it?
I'll give you a hint. Last name's Donna.
Belladonna. I have belladonna.
Belladonna. Oh,
And
dear.
a poison arrow.
Oh, no thank you. No.
She clearly has been licking all day.
How many licks does it take to get you this cigarette?
Don't got me
I like-
insomnia.
Yeah.
Fun is fun, but I think your tastes are a little bit different than mine. That's some very harmful stuff.
Yeah. I got them, so I might as well use them.
Where is the dice? The dice are over here. I need dice. I need to make a roll. Where is it? Grab one. Oh. She Zaza gets real close to you, and you can see the long whiskers that she has. It's very swept back, short mane.
I want to pet her.
She has some black spotting on her, just slightly like a tabby. But
How would you feel if I pet her?
try. She gets up real close, and you see the tail is nice, long tail, just like a cat's, and it's just whipping back and forth, and it kind of slows down a little bit. She gets up real close to you. Oh dear. Are you, addicted to donut?
Well, I mean, like, I can stop
She
anytime.
she's looking at your eyes, the bags under your eyes, the kind of redness in the corners, there's a
Just-
slight sunkenness to Jinx's face compared to the more youthful 100-year-old that you had set out with.
She's seen some shit, man. You were
Yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks, month. How long have we been gone for?
Couple weeks.
Couple of weeks. It's been a rough couple of weeks.
Maybe you could tell me about it. I'd love to hear from what drew it to that. And at this point, because of all the drug talk and whatnot, the snobby high elf shopkeeper just yes, have fun at the concert. Please.
Yeah. Let's
Oh,
let's
so polite. Fuck you.
let's walk back to the kip and y'all can unwind and maybe converse a little,
That sounds good.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, pause there for just a second. So you're just about to exit. What have the boys been doing outside?
I don't know, nothing. We're just standing there waiting. I have no idea.
Well, you flew your dragon over as well.
What is this story again?
This is Fatal Fashions. This is the kind of like deadly couture.
Okay.
scene.
I guess, I don't know, looking around, see whatever shops are, if there's something interesting for me.
Yeah, in the area that you're at, in the Great Bazaar, Grand Bazaar, yeah, there's a number of other shops. Some look like men's clothing. There's suits in certain shops. Big and tall, short and small.
Yeah, I guess Rick would be looking around for a place to go buy.
Okay, what kind of clothing were you looking for?
Something a little more upscale, I guess.
What would you imagine would be upscale for Rick? Is he going for like high elven fashion, like high elven formal?
Or
Or-
human formal, I guess. 'cause
Or
that
human
would seem
formal?
great more my steam.
Yeah,
So,
I just wasn't sure what his aesthetic was. So yeah.
just trying to think about that now because I'm drawing on this rich merchant background, so like.
He does like his green. Would you want like a nice like green
See,
suit?
Reed's would be good.
Do you want a suit? Do you want tux? Do you want
Just like a silk shirt and like
yeah?
nice overcoat, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I think tux is more like a medieval fantasy thing, but
No, it's in Sigil. It's pretty cosmopolitan. So it's all walks of life, all material planes, and they're all at different times in their development. So it can be a mix of things. Anyway, so you would go with some nice green pants and a shirt of some sort.
sure with some shirt.
Okay. Take off 2 gold and write down that you have that. That's your nice men's formal that you purchased. And Garrett,
Yes.
were you looking for any fancy dress for the evening?
Well, he kind of just tails along with Rick as he like goes to take a look at that store, and as he's
Okay.
passing a store, out of the corner of his eye, he kind of sees like this little purple cape that catches his eye.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
Purple
Yeah.
cape.
See a purple cape in the window that's just your size. No, really,
Potentially.
it is. You can see from far away. That's like it's not just a purple cape. It is like a purple cape with a cape.
Yeah.
That's not like a Goliath's purple cape, which would be a small tent for you. But
A large tent for him.
they just put a pole up. And,
Yeah,
there you go.
Well,
But,
see
yeah, after a discussion with the shopkeeper, he managed to get it for 7 silver. And would you prefer to be silk or something else?
Yeah, I imagine it's like kind of furry.
Kind of, sorry?
Kind of furry.
A furry purple. Furry purple cape.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay, write that there. Furry
Like
purple
fur on
cape.
the outside.
Yeah,
Silk
like
on
fur.
the inside or
Fur.
silk on the outside and fur on the inside?
That one.
That one,
Sure.
yeah. That sounds luxurious and warm.
Cape or cap?
Cape.
Cape.
Yeah. That's the only clothing he gets. That's the only. He's still wearing his armor and everything. Just now the cape.
Okay, cool. Very cool. All right, I think everybody's gotten their shopping portion done at this point. That albino tabaxi walks out with your party members and finds Girin fitting his new furry purple cape on, and and Rick is holding his purchases of fancy silk gloves.
Snazzy.
Was there any other shopping you wanted to do while you were in the ground zone? You had taxied out here. Or
Is there
Rich
something
out
we
here.
can get to give to the little the dragon? Treats for the dragon.
Oh yeah.
Little dragon treats.
There are plenty of, and it's of
I haven't
course.
sent yet.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure he still appreciates a cookie. Who doesn't?
There are dozens of street vendors with small, we're talking like the small rickshaw carts that are this long and then have something steaming or on rotisserie or hanging from various
Do
bits.
you think he'd rather something cute or gruesome?
To eat.
Yeah.
Probably cute.
Cool. Let's find something like a bag of little tiny cute things, and then every once in a while, just throw one.
Okay, you do find a vendor that happens to have a cage of live mice.
Cool.
They also have them deep fried and battered and baked and stuffed and
No,
candied.
I shake the cage at Gurix, sorry, at Gurix, and I say, you want one of these? So what? You want one of these? Or do you want one of these? And I grab one of the deep fried ones and I go, one of these?
You pay the little goblin girl who's running her
I pay her too much.
You pay her, okay. You give her two silver instead of the 2 copper she has.
Yep.
And you end up with a bag, we'll say a bag of, go ahead and roll a D10 and add 6. Sorry.
I hope to cause conflict. All I can hope is to cause conflict.
Zaza also bends down and hands the girl
13 altogether. I rolled a 7.
Perfect, so you have a bag of 13 live mice.
13 mine was, how much silver was it? 2?
2.
2 silver.
Zaza throws the girl some copper and ends up with a bag of her own, which she starts eating like popcorn. Delicious. Great idea. Thanks, Debbie.
That makes me really
She puts the rest into her pouch to save for later.
Nice.
Yeah. Was there any other bits and bobs you wanted to bring up from here? I'm going to make it pretty easy for you. We don't have to do major like searching or exploring of the bazaar. Just you let me know the general ballpark of what you might want to acquire, and we'll talk it out.
We haven't been here before.
We have been to the bazaar before. You made one previous trip when you had met Turkin, the Minotaur blacksmith, who you ended up finding as a buyer for some of your armor.
Is he around?
You.
Not for Ness, for me.
Oh. So not really asking.
I'm not really.
I would say you're probably in a close enough proximity to where you could see, especially somebody of his large stature. Actually, you'd be closer to his shop proper that he had, not his booth out in the main, like,
Right.
more tented areas. You're close to his shop, and you see anybody who is, just remembering that you had been here before and had encountered Turkin. You do look at the shop, and you see that there is boarding up on the windows, and there is a large parchment nailed to the front of the shop.
I want to read it.
Okay. You go and read it, and you just say it just says on there in a few languages, but it also in common that by order of the harmonium, this is a crime scene and do not trespass on penalty of high penalty.
Where was this?
This is Turkin's shop, the one where you went to actually sell him the armor.
The guy that bought.
Oh yeah, we need to go. Or
They're
No.
second thought.
I would
No.
say it's quite busy right now in the bazaar. It is just before noon. It's just before like peak right now, and it is the throngs and the crowds are quite thick. There are no. Well, actually, would anybody think to look for thugs?
I would look
Would
for
anybody be
fuzz.
looking out for the
I would
thugs?
be looking for fuzz
Okay.
constantly.
Then make a quick perception check.
What am I percepting at? I'm percepting quite high, I believe.
Sure. Oh yeah.
How do I play D&D again?
Guys,
Roll
guys, D&D,
Hi.
D&D.
Percepting at a 15.
At a 15.
That
You
feels
take-
like it's low. Alright. Sorry.
Maybe with a different character.
Yeah.
Is there sound coming out? Can't hear anything. There we go. Back to the streets. Alright, so you take a quick look around, try to spawn any of the red armor of the harmonium with the spikes. You don't see anybody patrolling around right now. So there's none around the building itself, and there doesn't seem to be any activity inside the building at the moment.
What if, now follow me here, one of us, say Jinx or Rick, were to go
What?
down the way there and cause a wee bit of a ruckus. A distracting, loud kind of ruckus that might draw other people's attention. Now it doesn't have to be illegal, it can be just playing music, but a distraction for the others to sneak in and see what the fuck happened.
I got my bagpipes.
Hey, what you think? Who's the sneakiest? Well, I'm pretty sneaky. I guess I should go inside there and see what is about in case someone left something around that might be valuable, useful.
Remember, you do have Salsa standing with you.
I said useful.
She offers him. I could turn into a, I could turn into a mouse. One that, as long as your dragon doesn't eat me, I can sneak under the door. Can you do it?
I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I
Why did you say that? Because you didn't actually feed the mice.
No, you didn't feed one to get.
No, I did.
You just want them, I thought.
No, I was.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's. One second. You handed one to Garrett.
You would just be staring at it and kind of like sniffing at it and just looking at you. What that for?
Nom nom.
He's just kind of confused and said,
no, man.
he's never
He's
eaten
a
before.
vegan.
Like this, and she Salsa just puts one in her mouth. It
Yeah,
slurps
that's
up the tail like spaghetti.
that's cool. You can just give me a
He-
bump of whatever you're smoking later. It's cool.
She ate one of her own.
Oh,
She's like this. You
She looks like he's like, and he like generally like,
know.
he's like, yeah, and then he does that and Garen is just staring at you like, what are you doing? You're feeding him? I never thought to do that. Being a celestial Shabbat and then going off into like this music like,
Does Garrett's like the eating the mouse?
oh he does.
excellent.
Lord.
So we have that established. So now we're.
So y'all go sneak in there and then just see what's up. Are you gonna let us in the back door there? What you saying?
What do you
I
say?
like
You do
it.
together?
Fuck yeah.
Alright, let's go.
Can I sneak in the back?
Yeah, you can sneak in the
I
back.
wanna
Is there going to be a distraction?
Yeah, somebody needs. Okay, yeah. You guys go.
Okay, as much as I didn't want to be a part of this,
You can play
as Carrie the Golden Dragon would say, curiosity keeps the doctor away. So I will be with the rest of the group. I will be part of the distraction team.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I passed my bagpipes to Garrett.
Oh, the zombie
you can
bagpipes.
play these if you want.
I'm kind of hesitant to touch them.
It's fine, man. They get sterilized with fire and gun because I got caught on fire one time. But see bagpipes if you fire.
I suppose I could try. I've never played them, but
What
I don't know if there's any viewer.
what's Ness doing for distraction? What's her idea?
Maybe we should start to play some music.
Yeah.
Percussion.
Okay.
No. Oh, she puts on her green cloak because she wants to be snazzy about it.
Okay. Okay. So are you playing right outside the shop itself?
We're gonna go ways down.
A little ways down?
Yeah, actually, ways down and on the other side. So when people
So they're
are
looking
look,
at
yeah, so their backs are facing the shop where they are.
Yes, this is pretty.
Okay. Well, so who's playing what?
I'm playing bagpipes. Very reluctant.
Percussion.
Buskings.
You're gonna carry them, you realize.
Okay, so yes, on percussion. And what was your percussion? You had wood blocks or something?
I had a small drum. I don't think I have it
drum.
with me though.
That's right. Yeah, probably not just
You
carrying
play
it
whatever
around.
you're
But
wearing.
Yeah, I'm just kind of
yeah, your armor.
doing a really good
You're
job.
just like spoons down, go
On bagpipes. And what are you going to play there, Mr. Rick? Rick is going to bring up the loot. Okay, we got the three of you busking. I want to see how well you do. Let's get a, first of all, performance roll from all of you, except for, so you're not adding your proficiency bonus to this.
Yeah.
So this is just going to be add your charisma bonus,
Kidding.
and you get to add your charisma bonus to yours.
Oh, look at that charisma.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. No, for you, you could actually add your proficiency as well because it's an instrument you're proficient at.
So wait, what am I doing with mine again? I'm not using the 6. So that I just need.
You use your sorry. Let me say this again. You're going to add your performance bonus, but only if you're proficient with the instrument.
Oh.
So for this, I'm going to say you're not proficient with it, so it's just going to be a charisma.
Right.
You're not necessarily proficient. You're going to be charisma, but you get your full performance.
So 20, not the
I rolled a 6. Yay.
26
17.
and 17. Oh,
Not bad.
wow. A little bit of natural
We flew off, but
aptitude
yeah, yeah.
on that. I like
At least
that.
it's not the trumpet player.
I was hoping it would be bad. That would cause me a better distraction.
Well, if it
Good
doesn't
night.
work, if that doesn't work, y'all better come up with something else to distract folks. Get into a fight or like do a dramatic scene or something.
Oh, I could do a little magic trick or something.
Yeah.
What? Should I pull this triangle out of my ass? No, I tell myself into it.
Oh God, why, Lennon? Is that necessary to prove a point? Like, okay.
Okay, so as you get through it, okay, that is pretty horrible. There's no non-obnoxious way to have bagpipes.
Oh.
I'm finding this.
Discreet
There's
bagpipe does not exist.
Okay, this one's with a drummer. This is at least a little closer. Let's see how they do.
Oh, that's so much better.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just turn that down a little bit, but it's on in the background. Okay. Anyway, so this is the distraction that's going on. So I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. You're playing the song led by, I'm going to say this is led by Rick. And can say what kind of song it really is, and the bagpipe accompaniment. You take a few, tries at blowing on the porcupine quills, and and not stab yourself too much. And of course, you follow along with a beat that is
Best I can.
best you can. Best you can.
Ness is just being yourself.
Okay. Who wants to roll? Who wants to roll what you get for busking
Money wise?
money wise? Who's rolling the money?
Sure.
What? Okay. It's this many copper.
Geez, thanks. Generous credit.
13 copper. Yeah, we get you up.
Yeah.
Alright. So, instructions going on in the background. Oh, I can turn this down. Debbie, you, because we'll get to the mice in a second.
Rat.
Rat?
Jinx is a rat.
Okay. Are you a small rat?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going with mouse because it looked like it would fit under the door. But that's squeeze you through. All right. Debbie, you're looking for another way in. I want you to go ahead and make an investigation check for me, please.
Investigating. Where am I? Investigation. There it is. Oh. 9.
9. You skirt down an alley, and next to the shop itself, there's a lot of crates. There's a lot of busyness. There's people coming and going, and there's a large cart that's backing out right now. You're like, okay, fuck this. You don't find a back door necessarily, but you do. We'll say you notice that on the second story of the place there are a few windows. And
Is there anywhere to get to them?
yeah, looks like you could probably climb your way up there
I'm gonna do
using
it.
some crates and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sneakily.
Okay. So let's see here.
Sneakily.
Sneakily.
My stealth is much better than my investigation.
All right. Go ahead and make a first of all a stealth check. What did you get?
I'm gonna use my lucky because I rolled a 1.
Oh.
So I'm gonna re-roll natural ones, and instead I'm gonna get a 22
22
on stealth.
Okay, yeah, that's plenty stealthy.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that would break your stealth right now would be fumbling trying to climb up.
My acrobatics.
Nope.
Is that what it is?
No, this is going to be your athletics.
Athletics. What have I got for athletics?
You're basically
0.
pulling yourself up onto crates and then parts of the wall.
15.
Yes. Okay. You make it up to the window. It is not locked. Nobody sees you, as far as you can tell.
Yes. As far as I can tell.
And you scramble into the second story of the building. Jinx, you and Zaza.
Do I get to wild shape now?
Yes, you get the wild shape now.
Yay.
Mark off one of your uses. Because you got that new fancy sheet. Just mark one as used.
Well,
Well, and I get to turn into a rat. I'm a little rat.
Okay, your little rat Zaza shrinks down and looks exactly like the last mouse she ate. And what's funny too, and kind of creepy and inception-y, is that she had a bag of live mice on her person, and all worn equipment and stuff goes into the form with you.
Yeah.
So that's part of the. So a bag of live mice is
Oh yeah, inside.
of the live mouse. Yeah.
Jinx is a albino rat that kind of mimics Zaza's markings a little bit.
Someone's got a crush.
If a little mouse, and she's like a little white and brown mouse that was very similar to what she ate, and if a mouse could kind of like snicker, just like a single snicker, and yeah, you turn tail and scoot under the door. I'm not doing a Q roll for it.
Thank you.
But we do need to roll to be stealthy to make sure that nobody saw a couple of druids
Turn into
wild
Midas.
shaping. So this stealth rolls to see how well we hid out of sight.
I have stealth.
Yeah, if you don't have it as a skill, it's your dex.
13.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so we, as far as we can tell, we got behind the crate. We dug down the same alley as Debbie, and found the nearest crate and changed it, scooted under the door. So we're in the first floor. Debbie,
Yo.
where would you be heading from the second floor? You're
Uh,
currently, you seem to be in the a room that would house, it houses a few bunks, double bunks, possibly servants' quarters.
Can I hear anything?
Well, you hear this outside. Inside the place, go ahead and make a perception check.
I rolled a nat 20.
You hear the pitter patter of a mouse and a rat skirting underneath the door on the first floor.
Excellent.
That's as much as you could have heard.
Okay,
Just
well,
fucking with you.
Then I very quietly go to the door and exit and look down the hallway and see what I can see.
Okay. You see the hallway seems to be part of a balcony and stairs, like it's a mezzanine of sorts that overlooking.
I can look down into the bar, kind of thing.
Well, it's not a bar here. This is his blacksmith shop.
Shop, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're seeing weapons on the wall, weapons in racks. You see armor on the wall, armors and racks on mannequins, all kinds of.
Can I see signs
stuff.
of a ruckus?
Okay, just a second. Are you going to go down the stairs then and actually investigate?
Yeah, I was just looking around to see where the ruckus was so that I could get a
You're,
spot of it.
you don't have a good angle of the main floor of the shop itself. You can only see kind of part of some of the counters on the one side and part of the back.
I will very quietly go downstairs.
Okay, we'll keep using your stealth score. So you quietly sneak down the stairs. You see the rat and the mouse peer from the other side. We didn't discuss it ahead of time, but Zaza is going to continue to stay as a mouse and start skittering about. But the thing that all three of us would notice right away is that there is a paint outline on the floor in several spots. One is quite large, and there are a few smaller ones, and they seem to be humanoid in shape. They wouldn't necessarily use chalk for this purpose. Not that chalk doesn't exist, but painted on the floor in red, basically a red with a red brush, and the floor itself is stained with dark maroon dried blood, or drying any blood still be congealing.
Debbie looks behind the cash register.
You look at the till. It's open and is empty.
Does anything else look like it's been pulled out, like underneath?
No, that's well, okay. Because you have the eight. You're staying in rat form? Okay. Are you kind of investigating around as well? I'll let one give the other advantage on an investigate. Whoever has a higher investigate.
I don't
With
have
the
a
eight-
very high investigate.
Well, with the aid of the mouse and the rat, somebody can roll with advantage and we'll see what
I
you
have a
do.
+0
I have a
investigate.
+2.
Cool.
Okay.
Then roll twice with a +2 on each.
That one's 11. That one's 16.
16 is great. Okay, so between the two of you, between the three of us, looking around the shop, there's no sign of damage to any of the shelves. There doesn't seem to be any missing property. Like all the wares seem to be in place. Even the glass is intact for the moment, and just the area around where the outlines are, there is a little bit of like broken debris. And some tattered cloth. You find, a bit of a yellowed, tattered cloth.
Does it look like it belongs to anything in the place? Like if I look around, it doesn't
It's not.
match.
It's not a curtain or anything.
Cool.
It's not a
I pocket it.
robe. Okay. Write down that you have one.
And while we're investigating, Debbie is paying a lot of attention for things that are shiny, or magic in nature, or have value.
We're gonna get back to that in just a second, bud. Jeez.
Listen, I got my priorities.
Jinx, what else are you doing?
I'm looking to see if that armor that we sold him is here.
Oh, good call. Well, we'll say as part of the investigate check, you were looking around for that, and no, you didn't see any sign of it, but you squeaked in somehow in Morse code to Debbie. Zaza goes and explores upstairs, and after a bit just comes down. She, in mouse, communicates to you that there's nothing interesting up there, but nobody up there either. So. Okay. The people outside playing. Just a second. Okay. So between the three of you, I'm actually just going to give this one to Ness. Ness. So because you have that high passive perception, you're actually paying attention more to the surroundings, to watching Debbie and Zaza and
Which
Jinx.
is why my percussioning is so bad.
Yes.
You see where I was going with this? Okay, good. So, yeah, you're not doing so well, but you're really perceiving what's going on, and you see that the two humans that were backing out a cart out of the alleyway across the street, out of the two of them, one of them just totally whiplashed his head around and noticed the druid's wild shape, and you saw him like watch as they went into the building itself, and then he stops and starts talking to his buddy for a second, like they're trying to figure out what to do. So you notice this as you're playing. Do you say anything to the others while you guys are playing? And also, Rick, are you singing?
I suppose so, yeah.
Okay. So while Rick is singing this beautiful song that you're trying to flock along to, you're seeing all this stuff.
Yeah.
What's Ness doing?
Well, I'll tell you because then.
Karen's just like
I'm just like
cheeks puffing out, just blowing on his
Trying not to
really hard
die.
will, just working it as best as he can.
Is it like as big as me, or do more hugging it?
yeah, probably.
just giving like almost like you make it out with it, like
Spike
trying
makeup
not to-
pillow.
Yeah, exactly. So you try to talk to Kieran, what he's saying. So
Yeah.
go ahead and try to talk to him. Yeah. No, you don't have to roll for it. Just what are you saying?
Oh, I tell them what I've seen. If they think that the jig is up, we gotta get them out of there.
Stop playing.
Or just bang loud. Sorry.
We should
They're
say
not
sing.
distracted enough.
Okay, you stop playing.
I stopped playing.
Okay, so she's still doing the blocks because you haven't said you stopped. You're still singing and playing the guitar. Kieran suddenly stops playing the bagpipes after Nestle is leading in. You're not really hearing what's going on quite
Everybody
yet.
see what's going on?
Go ahead and just because you notice Ness start moving in and talking to Kieran, you start looking around the crowd, make perception,
Jesus Christ, wait.
and you can make one too if you want to kind of know what's going on. Huh?
One.
Roll one.
You got a total of one.
Well, yeah, that's
Well,
Does not even know where Ness is standing.
Yeah,
Isn't
you're
that
not.
my perception to that? Wait, is that wisdom or perception? I guess it would be 7 total.
Well, with the nat one or with the 7, regardless, you just notice a cute half elf in the crowd who seems to be really digging your music at the moment.
There you go.
Sorry? Okay, you see right away what she's talking about across the way. there's the two Cubans that are having a discussion. At this point, one of them decides to step off and start looking around and start making his way through the crowd, pressing through. It's a big throng of people, so you have to press through if you want to go in a particular direction. Imagine the mall,
Hijinks.
but 10 times more people at Christmas time. 10
Oh, yeah,
times
you're gonna
more than
throw
Christmas.
me.
No, I can see how this could go down, and it makes me go.
So, yeah, you notice he starts going, and as you watch him into the crowd with your 21, you're watching him go into the crowd, and you see that he's just looking around. He's
Hey
looking for
Rick,
something.
why don't we sing our original song, Danger, Danger, Get Out?
Wow. Well, somebody slows that motherfucker down.
Not sure I know that song.
Oh.
Maybe.
What do you do, Rick?
Cut puzzled with. I don't know that song. Maybe hum a few bars.
He's real slow to the jump here.
Okay, we'll say you guys have stopped the song that you're currently playing.
I'd be playing something while talking.
Okay, so just a little bit of loot in the background there. I'm just gonna turn off these bagpipes. Okay.
What's the song we're talking about?
Yurix, you know the one. Sing it with me.
Okay, and then yes, that makes sense. And try to come up with a song on the spot, I guess. Just jam it out.
Yeah. I think we're just gonna start jamming Danger, Danger, Get Out.
Okay, so Ness is bent down and is talking to Garen, and they're just like, okay, what are we gonna sing with? Danger, danger, get out. Okay, 1 and 2 and Debbie, you're looking around the shop.
I'm just gonna pick up on this and actually join in with them.
Oh!
Danger, danger, get out!
Anyway. Debbie,
Yeah.
I want you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Make an investigation check. You're looking around for something a little bit pricier, a little bit. Okay, you do find a shiny.
Yay.
There is a long sword behind glass
Okay.
that looks absolutely masterwork. It's got these gold wings coming off the hilt. There's this triangle motif in the center. It's got an ivory handle and a gold pommel to it with an inset ruby right on the bottom of the
Oh, bitch is getting that
handle.
for herself.
And it looks like it's made of some sort of white platinum-ish material. Maybe not platinum, but kind of like this shiny white metal of sorts.
I want it. It's mine.
And it's behind glass.
I'll break the glass.
You don't try to open the cabinet?
Okay, I try to open the cabinet. I try to open the cabinet.
Do you want-
Shiny push!
She's impulsive. I will try to open the cabinet.
Okay. It is locked.
Is there keys around? Can I see any keys around? Any keys just under the counter nearby?
Okay, I'm gonna say with the investigate check that you had, that you did check under the till. Yes, there is a set of keys.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up. I'm trying to open it up with some keys.
Okay. Because you don't know which key is going to be in which.
How many keys are there?
Oh, there's 20.
Oh. Okay, I'll try 4 keys and then I'm gonna just use my lockpick.
Cool. Roll d20 4 times.
Do I add anything to it?
No.
10.
Yeah.
3.
Uh huh.
18. 10.
Reroll that last one.
16.
Cool. None of those 4 work. While you're doing that, Jinx, you're noticing that Debbie is you can hear the keys. You see that Debbie is trying to, but you're a little tiny rat. There's really nothing that you can do. You're not trying to stop them or anything like that. But Zaza's giving you a little bit of questioning look and being
Yeah.
are you going to keep trying
Can I
more
use my
keys?
thieves tools to unlock it?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Oh, okay.
What do I add to that?
Jinx is heading to the door at this point.
Yeah, you've had enough of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just kind of like give Debbie a look
Did
like.
we hear any of their music?
No, this is just Jinx getting bored and leaving kind of thing. So.
I give you a little look, just like, eh,
Cool.
see you on the other side.
Zaza stays behind. Squeak. I'm just waiting for Debbie. Okay, so you're going to use your thieves' tools.
Yeah.
Go ahead, and it is a add your dexterity plus your proficiency.
Where's my proficiency? There's
So it'd be-
7 plus 5. Oh, I didn't do well. 12.
12. Well, it's not a difficult one. You just managed to pick it easier than
Okay.
trying to roll a 20 on a d20,
Yeah.
because that's what you would have had to roll to find the key.
Okay.
Anyway, so you managed to unlock it,
Yeah.
and yeah, that long sword,
I take it.
gorgeous long sword, is yours for the taking.
It's fine. I'm taking it.
Okay.
Okay. And then I go back out the way I came.
Okay, where are you putting it?
In my bag of holding.
Okay.
Yeah. Long sword. We'll deal with that later.
Before, I'm going to say that they start to sing whatever they're about to do, actually, just as you're doing the lock picking, and you open the lock. So you open the lock, you're about to take the sword. Hey guys, I want to hear, what is it exactly that you tried to sing into the crowd on the spot?
Well, at first we were just trying to figure it out, so it would have been like, danger, get
Danger!
out.
Get out! Get out of here! Get out of there! It's a dangerous place. So
Where it
get
starts
on
playing
out of
just the
there.
basic 4 bars, trying to like, no.
There's something that sounds suspiciously like electric six. Danger,
Yeah.
danger, get out now.
I would think it should become more and more obvious the longer it goes on. So we're just like, friends in the house right now! Like, getting dangerously close.
Okay, so just as you cats like really start to get in full swing of it, you see that the little rat comes out. And where are you going, by the way? Are you going to go back into the alleyway, not knowing? Like, you can hear the danger part, but you don't know what
No.
that means necessarily. So you
Yeah.
come out, and where are you
I'm
heading?
just gonna go hide somewhere, like kind of so I can see the
There's
door.
a lot of, all there is, like, you're a tiny little rat, and all there is just giant feet stomping all around you
Six
on the
miles.
street. Like, we're talking, like, these are
Oh yeah,
packed
then I go back in the
throngs.
alleyway, like over by
Okay.
there, but I'd be sticking to the walls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you come out, you go into the alleyway. I'm gonna say, you cats that are yelling danger and all and starting to sing it, you see the rat come out and go right past the guy that was still waiting by the cart, who, he was the same guy who noticed the first time. It was the other one who left. So the same guy who noticed the first time looks and sees the rat and is now like looking directly in the vicinity of Jinx as she's about to wild shape back.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna wild shape back.
Okay, well, he's now curious because he did see you turn into a rat and go in, and now he saw you go back into the alleyway, so he's waiting.
The heat, man. The heat.
Anybody else doing anything out of the three of you?
Turn into a frog and confuse him.
They're talking about me.
No, just about back at you.
I think, well, we didn't see her before, did we?
Yeah,
Yeah, I said that you could see, you saw that Jinx came out, because you were
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like expecting it at this point. You're waiting to see your friends come out, so you saw Jinx come out, go into the alleyway, and you see the guy who spotted them before now spot her again.
Yeah. I would say we'd all exchange a look, probably.
As you're ding,
Whoa, whoa.
high voltage.
Is it just
Hi.
one guy right now that's going in to check?
You have one guy who's now you can't see anymore, but has gone somewhere down the street,
Okay.
and it looked like he was maybe looking for help, assistance of some sort, maybe. And then the guy who was very perceptive, standing with the cart that they were back putting out, and
I am going to take notice of the music and saunter on up to that motherfucker, and I'm going to cast Charm Person on him.
okay. Okay, before you do, I'm going to pause it there. There's a lot going on now. Not doing an initiative or anything, but I'm going to say you've heard the music.
Yep.
You've heard your friends out on the street start making these sounds, and you see that Zaza's noticed as well. She twitches her ears, and
Yeah.
she goes to run for the scurry for the front door.
Yeah.
Where are you?
I gotta go back out the way I came.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would like you to make a new stealth check. So I really want you to be climbing down just as Jinx is hiding back there, just as Rick is walking out to the guy.
Well,
Where are we?
Where I get to? Do I
15?
get?
Wait, 13. Wait,
Sorry, I was still just doing something here.
13.
13. For your stealth?
Wait, 6 plus 7. 13.
Okay. Okay, so that's fine. You beat the crowd, and the guy is right now distracted because he's looking down at
The mouse.
where
Yeah.
he's expecting an elf to appear. And so you see him. So from your perspective, I'm going to say you're looking down. You see Rick is now crossing the street to come and talk to the guy. Like
Yeah.
you see him approach from behind. The guy is like, craning and looking down the alleyway down this way, and you're up top.
Yeah.
And you have a couple of crates that you're going to, with the stealth that you rolled, you're going to roll another athletics or acrobatics. I'll give you acrobatics for getting down if
Okay.
you could like tumble or something.
Oh, that's real good too. 25.
Okay, where are you trying to tumble down into? I just want to know, are you going to try to stay in the alleyway? Are you basically, what side of the guy are you trying to come in?
I want to be behind him.
Okay. Awesome. Alright, so this is how this goes.
Can I make one addition to Jinx goes in behind from where they wild shaped before, like where they wild shaped down, and she just kind of props up in the corner and starts licking her badge as a rat.
I'm glad
Thank
that
you for
was-
being so helpful and adding to
Uh,
your.
Just a regular rat, guys. Come on.
Some would call that
I don't think
world
I've ever
building,
seen a
some
rat
would
lick her
call it
badge.
flavor.
What are you
Anyway,
talking about?
flavor.
Flavor. It's flavor.
so
Arrows.
yes, as this unfolds, the group of buskers stops busking after yelling some danger, or maybe the two of you are still yelling danger as Rick starts to cross and approach the gentleman whose back is to him, and he's starting to peer around the crate and is just about to see a rat licking her own badge. And you see Debbie just out of nowhere flop down on the ground in front of you quietly, well, mostly quietly.
That was a kiss at Rick.
and immediately steps through your space and behind you because of your cloak and all that, because that's the thing that halflings do, right? Just in time for the guy to kind of sense like something behind him and turn around and see, and now you're face to face.
Oh, goddamn. Wait, am I that close already?
Yes.
Amazing. I'm proud of us.
Rick's gonna just go pause instead of doing did you like the song? I was passing the, well, not hat around, but collecting copper coins from anybody who liked the music. Like you were bobbing your head over here.
Sod off, Buck. I've got more important things to do here. There's trickery afoot. You see a little rat and a mouse.
Not a little one. I've seen some damn big ones not too long ago. Not anywhere around here. Person size.
Wasting my time. He starts looking back he's just like, he doesn't care about you. You can say something else if you want, but he kind of turns around to like look at and starts watching the, there you are. And he spots James. James, is anybody else doing anything? I'm giving an opportunity.
Follow through on this charm thing since he seems like he's.
You gonna do the charm?
Yeah.
Okay, cast it.
So he has to do a wisdom save.
DC 14, 13?
Since it's a bard spell, DC 15.
He got a natural 19.
God
So hey, he turns around and he starts to feel like that fog come into his head that would like tell him something's up. Like normally, if it would take hold, you know, it would be kind of slightly under your control, you know, charmed by you at least, swayed by you. No, shakes it off, turns around and looks at you. Who'd you say you were?
Just a harmless musician. Just trying to make
Debbie
a few
steps
bucks,
out
man.
from behind him. Oh, Jimmy James, stop trying to get this man to give you some money. I'm sorry, sir. He's been on the sauce for a week and he's really desperate. I know that was really inappropriate of him. I'm gonna persuade him into being
No, you're good.
cool.
I want you to roll deception. And is the rat doing something?
Yeah, as he turns around and is getting distracted again, I want to try and like scurry out and run and like jump on, like go hide in up his pant leg or something.
Go
Oh.
hide on somebody else. Oh my god. Get away. You're the heat.
That was funny because I was just about to say, Ness, you feel a little something
Or somebody.
crawl up your leg
Yeah.
while you're playing. It feels like it's tiny, has a tail and four little claws. But you want to try to climb up whose leg?
I was thinking fucking Rick's pant leg, or if I can get like closer to these guys.
Well, I mean, there's like a whole cart and everything too, and like the other
Okay.
side of a cart. There's other places.
I want
in
to
this
hide.
alleyway.
Yeah, I just want to hide. I want to be away from that guy and stuff.
Yes, you can absolutely do that.
I will deceive him.
Deceive him
Okay. I will just. Oh, I just rolled a natural 1, but I'm lucky, so I get to reroll that.
once. Yes.
So then that'll be a 14.
A 14. Okay, he rolled up. I don't. Just leave me alone.
I'm sorry, my good man. I'll deal with him. Come on, Jimmy James, let's go get you a round of scotch or something. And then I drag Rick off into the
He
crowd.
starts shouting, Phil! Phil! Did you find them?
Okay, we just go, right?
Yeah.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Ness, I'm just gonna say that just as you guys are about to pull out, you do turn and just kind of with your natural perception, you do see that there are a couple of red spiked helmets bobbing in the crowd, cutting through the crowd, heading back towards the shop.
You're still on the other side.
Yeah. Just everybody disperse so that we don't have to go together. We'll meet back at the pit. The kip. We'll meet back at the kip or around the corner or something, not together. See you in like half an hour. That's all. Then Debbie pieces out.
Okay.
As they walk by, I do jump on Rick and his pant leg and
Okay.
scurry up. Kind of linger a little bit.
Zaza tickles a bit. Yeah. She's like up near your collarbone or whatever, just trying like kind of peeking out from part of the plate mail that you can.
Jinx.
Kind of ride along. She kind of smells bad. By the way, there's a smell to Zaza I forgot to mention that is kind of like if Beastly were to go and say jump in Trout Lake after like particularly tepid weather,
Ooh, nice.
and like what he would smell like soaking wet. That's kind of what she always
Gross.
smells like, no matter what form she is into. So.
Gross. I've met people that smelled like that.
She might be from the bayou.
Fine.
Okay, so you disperse. Now I want to know, do you disperse individually? Like I know you're riding along. But
About-
out of the four of you, do you guys go four separate ways or pair off?
I figured Rick was with me, and then you were riding on Rick,
I'm with Zelfa.
and then you
got Zaza, so
would be with Ness, right?
you also have your dragon out as well.
Hmm?
You still have your dragon around as well.
Yeah. He's beside me. I guess I would go through them.
Okay, so you two and then the three of you with. Okay.
Ness decides to On the way up, just quickly spend a copper on some flowers to smell on her way. Like, ooh, these are pretty.
Pretty.
Okay, he gets some nice flowers, and Zaza's giving her nose is twitching and little whiskers are going, and she's smelling pretty flower too. It's kind of helping a bit,
I was just like that cat that's old and pees on itself.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
gross. Okay. I say that out of each of the two groups, elect one person to roll with advantage for stealth to lead the group.
That's not me.
Uh,
Me, that's Debbie.
I'm not stealthy.
Stealthy as fuck. What are you, Rick?
6.
I'm a 7. I'm gonna do it. The first one's a 10. The second one's an 18 plus 7.
25.
25.
And I assume Kieran's the one rolling.
Non-trash can?
Yeah.
You have disadvantage. Let's not even talk about that.
11.
There's some stolen property
11.
for friends.
Okay.
Debbie's really good to her friends.
Thankfully, the heat is not looking for you to at all in any way. Neither are they really looking for you guys, but your group notices these guys
We
not
see
making a very good exit.
you. You're just like,
But that's okay. I mean, it's hard to look really discreet with a mounted dragon thing walking down the street with you. Like, you just stand out. Most of the dragon kind that you see on the street are either like the little tiny familiar kind that they kind of perch on lizard shoulders and whatnot, or fly around, and the other kind are dragonborn.
Yeah.
So seeing a smallish dragon kind of tamed and mounted, or at least having a saddle and all that, at least saying mounted.
I just imagine tossing one of the mice at the dragon kid. People's like, ah! Just bounces off their face.
Which we did in Skyrim. For mice.
So I'm gonna call you Group A and Group B. Group A. Well, what are you doing? Where are you going?
To the
How are
kid.
you? Okay, that's on the other side of the ring.
Yeah, so we gotta
You
get
took
it.
a rickshaw this way.
Yeah, we're gonna take a rickshaw back. What do you think?
Well,
Make Rick drive the rickshaw? Right? We can do that.
okay. Let's see. All right. I rolled high enough. Yeah, you can find a 3-seater rickshaw if you're gonna go with a rickshaw.
Well, she can just stay in her fucking mouse
Oh yeah, I
form.
don't know.
She hasn't gone back yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm still
right. So there's
I'm
only 2
clinging onto
bodies.
his nipples.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Just tiddling the
She's
nipples.
just like,
It's
it's
so
fun, dude.
canon. All right.
Just like scrambling.
Yeah.
Scrambling.
All right. So you easily find a 2-seater. Can I get you to actually 5? Roll d20.
No, I don't know where they are. 7.
7. Okay. You don't manage to get the same guys on the first way over. I think his name was Thorx. Worth.
Worth?
Remember he told you all about it?
Mm,
The whole trip over?
mm.
The entire time? Anyway.
Blocked it out. It was so horrible.
And that cost you about 7 gold, so you figure out the bill between the 3 of you.
Don't worry, Daddy's got this.
So for Ness and Kieran and Girix, how are you getting
Well,
back?
I don't know. What's flying like there? Like, is it a pretty...
Flying was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were able to make it about quicker. You're much quicker than a rickshaw. And Girix has been getting used to flying in Sigil. It's really disorientating having all the buildings, having the skyline curl up in front
Yeah.
of you.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're constantly flying in the inside of the tire.
Yeah. That'd be busy.
Yeah. But he is able to, and you're, as long as you stay low.
We should probably, I don't know, Should we stick together or should we go our separate ways? That's more likely.
Yes, here.
Can you carry nets?
Yeah, I don't.
I don't think so.
One small rider, two small riders, but not a small and a big. And you're a heavy big too.
Mhm.
So actually, you know what? Wait, what's your speed? Am I like way slower than you? 125.
What is my speed?
Also, can I do a check to see if I'm
Oh,
noticing anybody
Yeah, my
noticing?
speed's 30.
30? Oh, okay, so
Okay.
can I just check to see if I'm noticing that the people around me are notice that he looks weird, or he stands out?
Sure. Roll perception. Actually, sorry. You're trying to notice if people think you're weird.
Well, no, having the dragon thing, because you said that kind of stands out. I was like, would I've already
Are you
noticed
trying
that?
to notice people who aren't looking at you? Or are you trying to notice people that are looking at you and noting how odd you are?
Just seeing if I have a general feeling of like, oh, like ever since being there, I would have had this feeling as soon as your ex is back that people would be like, whoa, what's that? And it would draw
It just
attention.
it changes what kind of roll it is.
Yeah.
So
Do I
it's not
think
going to be
it's draw
perception,
attention?
it's going to be insight. So go ahead and roll an insight for me. This is you kind of intuiting what the crowd is like.
19.
19. Great. Yeah, no, you are. You've been getting odd looks. You did notice that you, Dragonborn that you see, seem to kind of look at. They're looking at Gyrix like the same way a human would look at a badly cloned Neanderthal test subject
Yeah.
walking around, like Encino Man. Like Gyrix right now is Brendan Fraser from Encino Man.
Okay.
And it's noticeable. It's like, yeah, you're not, like, what the fuck are you? Like, you're a throwback. Like, he looks like,
Yeah. No.
he kind of looks offensive. Like, you're not quite offending people where people are getting hostile, but, like, the Dragonborn that see him are definitely like, the fuck?
Yeah.
As for some of the other races, you know, there's been some, you know, a couple of looks of, like, people admiringly, some people fearfully, because he does look like a green dragon. Green dragons are known to be evil. But other than that, I mean, like, the crowd sees a lot of weird shit anyway.
Yeah.
So you're like that momentary, oh, and then you're gone.
Okay.
And you're just that thing that's not okay.
But we didn't know that the police were not looking for us. We were just shambled away really quickly, right? And anyways, I'm just gonna say that I unsummon him to like not draw as much attention as possible.
Cool.
And I would have done that. But,
All right, so you send them back to the astral plane, and the two of you, I assume, now catch a rickshaw.
Yeah.
Okay. Ness, go ahead and roll a d20 for me.
Oh, that's a 2.
Okay.
oh,
Takes someone a lot longer to get back.
it's not these guys.
Yeah, it does take a bit longer and it costs a bit more. It's going to be 9 gold for your trip. You're between the two of you. Mark that off for me.
Some of the monies that we got playing our lovely music.
Okay, so the first one's back. Would be the three of you. It's a good hour before you get the others. By the time you're back at the kip, it's starting to get like mid-afternoon, I'd say. And you know that from the posters and from the tickets that you have, that the show probably starts at say 9 o'clock. So you have plenty of hours before then. And yeah, you just arrive back.
Debbie takes a nap with her new sword.
Did you take the sword out when you're in the kip?
Yes.
Okay. You see Debbie open up her backpack
I didn't
and
say that.
it's one room. What separate room are you going to go
Okay,
in?
she's in the corner.
Right. A sword that is as tall as you. How tall are you on your sheet? How tall are you?
5'5".
Ness says,
4 foot.
Ness says, well, look what the cat dragged out of the bag.
Yeah. It's as tall as you, Debbie. You could still wield it like a long sword, but it might as well be a great sword to you.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, you see what looks like the Master Sword from Zelda, but with a gold beam, kind of shines out of the bag. It's got a
He's
shiny,
heavy.
super silvery white, blade, and then everything else is like all super white and gold motif. But yeah, very shiny sword.
You should get a little green hat.
And
Like run around. You can get a
Oh,
nice
I could be.
throw your guns away. And get a
No, I'll
You
just
should-
sell it for money.
new hat.
Jinx gives herself a good, thorough, very, almost too thorough grooming before she changes back to.
Yeah, she started
Like-
something and
like
she's
a
just been
rat?
edging herself
Like-
until the end. She's just like been licking herself next to Rick's nipples until she gets home and
No, I
goes
crawled up into his armpit at this point.
Rick, what are you doing about this? Okay, you get flung onto the floor, Jim. Where she just stops right there on the floor, right where you can see her, and just continues.
Finishes.
Yeah.
Wait, are
Doesn't
we all
break
back
eye
together?
contact.
I know. I was just finding out what they did in the hour
Oh,
in
okay.
absence. So
We still didn't we get a flower pot at some point? Or are we using
It's planted outside.
yeah, it's not planted, so you have the helmet back.
do we have a bucket in the cave?
Yes. There's
Get
a
up
bucket.
in a bucket and sit down.
I continue there until I'm done.
Okay.
She wild shape back just as you're coming. Then pop out of the bucket.
Is it a
Screaming.
concentration spell?
Are you doing anything with the sword?
I'm inspecting it for anything to see if I can figure out what it does. What's it do? Is it got any magic? Does it do things?
Okay. Go ahead and make an arcana.
Might also spit on it a bit.
Just an arcana.
By the way, when we got back, by the time we got back, were you still around for, or how long were you back?
9.
Yeah, I probably would have just wild shaped
I'm gonna
out of
say
it at
that
point.
for like the briefest moment, you swear you could see writing on the blade, but then it disappears and you're like,
sees you when you're with
wait,
us.
what? And it's you think might have been the trick of the light, like it was just like
Or
the way something really
No,
metallic
So you don't
Yeah.
is
have
shining.
the
It's
guy
like,
who
what?
knows stuff about magic look at it later.
Like,
The
the
back of the bag.
under a
Take
bucket
it out.
right now. When I wild shape, I'll be around a bucket.
Okay, yeah.
And then you guys get back to the kip, the two of you. With Zaza crawls up on Nessa's shoulder.
Stingly.
Okay.
Oh shoot, I missed out on that then. When did Zaza join us again? Just right after.
Zaza crawled
It was
up Ness.
Oh.
like,
She's been with
soon
us the whole
after
time.
Yeah, but she.
She's in the month.
Oh, and Girax isn't here anyway, so never mind. I was gonna say he goes after her or whatever first mouse he sees now that he's got the taste for them.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, she was hiding. So you make it back to the kip, and you find Debbie spooning a really pretty sword. You see- I don't know what Rick's doing. Tuning his instrument?
Yeah, I guess so.
Alright. And what about your actual loot? And are you well shaped back yet, or okay? So James with a
I'm
bucket
sitting
on
on
her
the
head.
floor with a bucket on my head.
No.
And she's just
In
as
a
you're
bubble.
opening the door, her leg is finally just coming back.
Worse than the dog.
So you made it all back together.
That was kind of a close one.
There you
So I found this piece of cloth. We should figure out what it does. It's weird. It didn't belong to anything. I
go.
need like.
And it's a tattered piece too. Like it's definitely something that was ripped from maybe a piece of clothing or something.
Anybody like? Is there anything recognizable on it? What's the fabric look like?
It's actually a pretty simple weave and a bit of a material that I would say is kind of like burlap.
I asked Zaza if it looks familiar at all.
She okay, well she's still a mouse at the moment, but we'll say she changes back and just a quick look around the place. She's like, "Do you like the you've done with the place?
What, nothing? Blame Sven, this isn't our fault.
Certainly smells like the plane you came from. And she's like, let me see, let me see. She gives it a sniff. Gift.
Get. Them fellers at the bar that was asking questions.
It's Githurai. Githurai, they have the monasteries in Limbo.
You don't
They
like
have
that
robes
name?
like, I don't like any gift.
Why don't you like
On the whole, they tend to be fucking assholes.
it? On the whole?
Exactly, thank you. No, but they're assholes. They've wiped out whole prime colonies, whole prime cities for petty reasons. They raid. They hate illithids. At least most people hate illithids. Can agree with that. But I mean, no. These purple tentacle-faced creatures. These.
You're talking nonsense. That doesn't exist.
That's
I don't know, we've seen some shit.
They read your mind and they make it.
Disbelieve.
They can make your mind mush and just make you like a vegetable.
What happened to you?
No, we know what happened.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't met one, but that's what I know.
So we know that those Geth came looking for us. We were there. That's where we sold our armor. They gonna come here next. We don't got long.
How did they come?
I don't want my brain.
Well, if the shopkeeper keeps any sort of record of who sold them what.
You didn't give an address or anything
No.
like that. It wasn't that kind of
Mm.
agreement. It was, here are your sacks of gold. Give me the armor, please.
That didn't happen in the shop, right? It happened.
No, it did happen. You guys made the transaction in the shop. You met
okay.
him at the forge that he had in the main
Oh,
bazaar,
okay.
and then you had to go back to the shop because that's where he had the bulk of his money.
I wonder if they came after him for the armor.
Probably.
It seems to be causing a lot of problems. Should have never even brought it with us. I guess we needed it to live. Deployed.
I feel like having any sort of
Unnecessary.
mystical, ancient armor is like anyone's gonna. We got a lot of money for that, which makes me think that people want it.
As
Want
you're
more of it.
sitting on a beautiful sword right now.
Yes, I am still sitting on the sword, petting
Sitting
it
on-
occasionally, while I'm telling you that like things have value and people want the things you have. That's why I have this sword here, because now I have the sword's value is mine. Philosophy of Debbie. I want it. It's mine. It makes me better because I have it. Philosophy of Debbie.
I think that's called
Narcolepsy?
No.
Narcissism?
No, constantly steal.
Kleptomania.
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 I think
No.
that's called
I don't
kleptomania.
steal from, it's on my character sheet, I don't steal from people who don't deserve it. Or people who will not be harmed by it. Dead people cannot be harmed by my theft. Let me rationalize every thieving I've ever done.
I just wanna put a stitch in that for a second and ask, how does Ness and Garrett feel about this? I know you're not as lawful, but
They didn't see me steal it.
didn't you just say?
No, I just described a
out loud.
philosophy. I wasn't talking about it necessarily. It's a metaphorical sword.
What was-
It's not the real sword that's in my hand.
But you were saying these things as Debbie. I'm just trying to understand. Okay. Close.
Tamriel, okay?
Right elder, wrong scroll. So is that your conversation back at the camp? Do you guys want to do anything else? Or else we'll
I think
skip
we're just so
forward.
used to it by now, we just assume that you stole it from like a vendor or something. Like we don't know that it came from that building, do we? Or did you tell them? Sorry. You're just always pulling stuff out
I just
of
have a
the
sword.
It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
we have shit in
This is
that
pretty
bag.
things. Okay. Can I get you to make a quick arcana check, please?
Yeah, I want you to look at the sword and take a look at it. Get it all sorted. What? Why are you staring at me? You do nothing.
Sorted.
Sword hit. I didn't know. That's how good it was.
How much, sorry? 17. You can definitely, when you see that sword, you can almost hear an audible like hum of magic coming off of
Do you know what it does?
Now I'm quite curious.
Are you showing it to him?
Yeah, I'll look at it.
Where did you get this?
I found it. Found it.
You just found it?
Yeah, just on the road, on the side of the road.
it. Okay.
I
First of all,
I have
Make a
high
deception
wisdom.
check because you have to beat Ness's passive 17. Let's
Yeah.
see if you can do that.
Just some.
Or else Ness is looking right through you.
Jesus. Where is that shit? Where's deception? There it is, 6. Not good. 11 altogether.
You stole it.
This
kid. I turned to Zaza and said,
Me?
she's always stealing, but this one is like taking candy from a baby's bottom.
Yes. Or taking a masterwork sword from a minotaur.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was there.
I
Debbie,
don't remember that.
you're going to get your friends in trouble. You need to watch out. You'll get them in trouble one day, I tell you.
Overestimating.
I'll get them out of it again. Don't worry.
I have a feeling from my meeting with Sven that Zerilius knows you're not Sven and is looking for a little halfling boy or girl.
Like, maybe we should get out of town soon, if that's the case. Thinking if he knows somebody's pretending to be Sven, that's it. I'm looking at Sven's house, and then we're going to be in trouble.
They're not gonna find. They're just gonna find this fabulous prince-like creature who's ready to go to a show. You guys want to go to a show?
Halfling at Sven's house, we're going to be great citizens.
So I'm gonna say that it's about 4 p.m. at this point. We have just a bit of the evening left.
We're drinking.
Chirpers is back in the bazaar, fortunately, which is the other side of the ring again. So you know that you have to, we'll say about 2 or 3 hours, you know, it's going to be just spent in training. Unless, of course, you find some other ingenious way of getting there.
Wait, what happened with the sword? Did I just say, oh, it's magical and that's all you know? Or was that
Sorry.
like a
Yes, you look. She handed it to you. You took a look. So there was a conversation that was had, and then yes, you were looking at it. You see the magical writing down the length of the blade. You see ruins that nobody else can really see. It doesn't seem to be etched into the metal, but rather is just like this faint glow of sigils that are along the blade itself.
Oh, my back.
Now, do you have the identify spell?
No.
Okay, then I can tell you some information for the roll that you got, but I can't tell you much. First of all, I will give this to you. You know that it is a +2 longsword at the very least.
Okay.
And it seems to be mostly because, like, it does count as a magical attack, but it seems mostly because of the actual, like, the way it was made. It was so well made that is, like, even if it wasn't magical, this thing probably would have a +2 edge to it, kind of thing. It's just that well made. So it's a +2 longsword.
I know, we should get a new show. 3 words, long show.
I don't think my pussy is that talented yet.
Honey, you need to believe in yourself.
I'll have to practice.
And
Practice. Maybe we go Tiger will start up. Practice.
Yeah.
Before you know it, they can do big barbell, razor blades.
Yeah.
I can do razor blades.
there's one word,
Yeah, I remember that.
one symbol on the blade itself that you can tell for sure you've seen before, that you know for sure is a symbol for the word dragon.
Oh,
I said I could put that on the internet since it's pretty entertaining. I was super curious.
I don't know if you want to write that down in your thing when you get back. Yeah.
it said something about dragons on it. Dragon? Or just the word dragon in one of the symbols.
You know.
I want to look at it and see if I recognize anything.
Oh, if it's a dread.
It's not written in Draconic.
Oh.
It's basically written in arcane runes, and it just happens to be that one of the arcane runes happens to be a symbol that is related to dragon.
Oh.
Burrito, burrito.
The longsword. What are you going to do with a longsword?
Sell it. That or give it to my friends, and then it's not stealing if it's third party.
Yeah.
You could wield it and be totally like morally separate. Then you're free. Because I was the one who acquired it.
But I know how you acquired it.
No, you don't. You just think you do.
Yes, you know better. Yeah, you know better.
Identify first. I must know what it says.
I might even have a potion of identify.
It comes in scrolls.
Oh, okay.
Scrolls or
What the hell
usually
did I
takes.
drink?
But I
Now
mean-
making time to do the things.
Yeah, we can pause here.
Yeah, it seems like before we go out on our adventure.
Sure, yeah, we'll talk about what happens when you get back. Alright, let's intermission.
Well, one thing I want to do this one kind of stuff
What's that?
is
Intermission.
take the ask for my helmet back,
Yeah.
and then notice how it's still filthy. So I'm gonna cast my new spell on it. Prestidigitation.
Oh, you took prestidigitation.
Yeah, which can clean a cubic foot of.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. You're now the new the mate of the group.
Is that a prestidigitation cantrip?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. So you should totally like cast that 4 or 5 times on Jinx.
That wouldn't be enough.
Keep casting it on Jinx and being like, wait, I know how this works.
Missed the bot.
What the hell?
She's immune.
I think Zaza wouldn't even help.
We need Elise or if anybody knows anybody that would be an appropriate temporary remake.
Yeah. I'll keep an ear out for that.
Is Drew even moving yet?
He's got a bed upstairs?
He's got a mattress.
A mattress, yeah.
He's got a mattress and a few things.
Alright.
I'm sure he'll move in soon.
Yeah, he's working on it. And possibly puppies.
I think we're pretty much ready to go, eh?
Yeah.
Everything's pretty much done.
I'm only editing this photo for people to see this cake. So, you know, don't worry about me.
Take it in just a second. Dave's finishing.
I'm so full.
I'm so full and I still want cake. I'm just gonna wait a minute and then try again.
Gotta do it in bits.
Where did you show that thing? Watch the ground.
Oh,
No, the first thing.
I might not have sent it to you. I'll put it on the warm line.
Okay.
I'll just put it up so everybody can have access to it.
Thank you.
I got posted that.
Find somebody to rent our space.
So, what is it? What does the ad say? Like in terms of like how many months? for
It says a couple of like what 2 to 3 months, but that's negotiable. And it's the upstairs room, 760.
Right.
Yeah, it's just I wrote a little blurb.
It's all on that perfect. All there. We'll reshare that.
It's just a Craigslist
His
ad.
eyes are so dirt. Look at that. Look at his fucking eyes.
Oh, he's like kind of cross-eyed.
Yeah, one's shorter than the other. People. That's so weird.
Beasley or me?
No, the cat.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
You're cute. You don't. You're fine.
Yeah, no, the cat's definitely crossed out. I found that they can't see more, like, they can see, like, they're pretty blind, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be, like, 20 centimeters from their face, otherwise they gotta, like, smell it out. Yeah.
I thought cats were like, they could see far, but like, So yeah, part of the reason their whiskers face forward so they can see shit wherever it goes.
Yeah.
So you like push things and grab them.
Yeah, you can't basically just like show a cat a thing. You have to like let them smell it and whatever it is for the most part. Yeah, so my cat just looks at me across it most of the time.
I'm so stoked. Merlin, the other random neighbor to you that comes to visit, is finally started coming back. So I had 2 cats today. Merlin, his name because his name's printed on his collar along the phone number. He tempted to take a picture of the text his owners and be like, "I have your cat. Give me $1 billion."
Oh, I've waited long enough.
Hey, dude.
Yeah, you can start anyway.
Let's we left off probably would say 4 or 5 p.m. now, probably in the evening. You spent some time hanging out at the kip, and what are you cats doing for getting ready, and what are your intentions for getting down there?
Can I do a short rest to regain my wild shape?
Do you get it back after a short rest?
I don't know. Do I get it back
I
now?
don't know. What's your character sheet say?
Or long rest, I guess. My long rest only takes 4 hours.
It has been 4 hours. You've been at the kip for like maybe an hour so far. Hour and a half.
Well, then never mind.
Recovery of
I
that.
will figure it out.
Garen, what's Garen doing?
The bats at this place.
At this place being
The kept or whatever.
where you are? Oh yeah, no, there's not. It is pretty common though, you would think, for there to be things like bathhouses in the area, probably all kinds. You wash up there? Okay, cool. Garen wants to go out to a bathhouse. Does anybody want to join him? Or do you just
I
want to
didn't
solo
try
that?
that.
Yeah, you didn't want to be like, I'm just stepping out.
I just could comment on how like we're all in the same kind of area, so like, oh, there's no bats or anything. I'm gonna go find them.
Pretty good. Okay, so Garen leaves. Bye. Alright, so we'll roll you up in a second. Anybody else here?
I'm just gonna get ready.
Okay. I want, alright, so for the rest of you that are hanging out back at the kip, I mean, like, I don't know how you want to spend the next couple of hours. If you want to go down early
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, it's going to take 2 to 3 hours to get there. Show starts at 9. It's getting on to 5 o'clock right now.
We go early, we can go backstage and stuff.
That's true.
I would point out that I want you to consider what you're going to wear / bring with you down to the show. So it won't be your full allotment on your character sheet. You gotta consider you're not bringing your backpack with you unless you want to bring your backpack.
Fancy pants.
But are you bringing weapons? Are you wearing armor? Are you just dressing up and leaving, like in cities, and leaving everything at home, save for what you need? So give that a thought for a second, and I'm gonna go back to Garen real quick. Garen, you left to go find a bathhouse. You are in. You're in the Hive, the roughest part of town. Are you going to cross the ditch back the other way, or are you going to try to go deeper into the Hive and look for a place in there?
Well, I wouldn't go too far. I'm just gonna walk down the street and see.
District view-wise, you guys are on this side of the bridge where that 113 is. So the Hive is everything this way, and then this is just like the next one over, which is just the lower wall. So I'm just asking, from here, I need to know if you're going further this way.
I'm gonna summon Girax and go for a fly.
Ooh.
That way. Away from the bad part of town.
Okay, away from the Hive. So, Girax appears, you mounted, and then soar into the air
In an erotic fashion.
in an erotic fashion.
My cape billowing behind me.
Yes, with your new furry cape. Not symbolizing
Hands
anything at
Right,
all.
him.
Sorry, I don't know if that was on purpose.
No, I didn't even think about that. I just
I
bought
just-
you another hoodie that was all fuzzy on the collar and it made me think of that. I was like, oh, keep that with me.
I thought you were just saying on the other
Because of
part.
that.
It's quite literally. Okay, so you are going through the lower ward. I want you to go ahead and. Are you proficient in investigate?
For bathhouses?
No. Well, I mean that could be a different story. You were around a lot of old men when you were there.
Steve's proficient in
Uh,
bathhouses.
Experience does not the same as proficiency. No, I'm not.
Okay, so I'm not gonna let Kieran aid you in this. Go ahead and just make an investigation check.
15.
15. Okay. So you are able to spot what looks like a bathhouse from the outside, only in that there's a second story to it, with kind of like an open frontage, like a lot of balconies, and looking straight in, you can see the smoke, or not the smoke, the steam billowing out, and as you spin a little closer, as you're flying through, you can hear the sounds of a lot of rushing water, and it seems to be about the right place. You smell it. Various bath salts and whatnot too, so it catches your nose. You find one. Yeah. Now let's find out what kind of quality place this is. Can I get you to roll a d20 for me, please? We're gonna find out
6.
6. Okay. All right. So, I mean, you might not notice right away, like when you're walking in, some of the plaster on the pillars is chipping away a little bit. There's a little bit of black mold maybe behind spots that people too lazy to clean would miss. But there is, a nice enough looking half-elf gentleman behind the front counter, and he's not missing all of his teeth. There is a stack of, we'll say, cleanish towels behind him, and a set of batons, different colored batons with keys attached to them. And, hi, can I help you?
Oh, hello there. My friend and I would like to have a couple of
Okay,
baths.
so the dragon is in here with you
I'm
too.
trying to feed you follow that if you can fit.
Okay, yeah, he can fit. Is he considered large yet or no? I think he's large, right? Okay, we'll say you squeeze him through the door. That's fine. You get him in, and he's trotting along behind you. The man's just immediately no pets. Mouths outside.
I just talk to your expert things to find out if he wants to stay and he just go outside and saunters off.
Okay.
Go wait outside.
He goes off himself and goes sit by a couple of horses and a griffin. All right, so just by yourself. Are you looking for a private experience, or you want just the regular public bathhouse experience?
Probably looking private.
Right. Okay. That's going to be $3.
What does it cost for regular?
For the public entry, about 2 silver.
Oh, I'll take that then.
Okay. So mark off 2 silver.
Because I count my coins and I only have like 4.
Did you bring your own towel? One more silver. Non-refundable deposit.
How much was that total?
3. So you take your towel. It roll a d20.
Oh, Jesus. 18.
Okay. It's probably the cleanest one out of the bunch. You might have been a little impressed with it. You've got the next level. It's not even right there. So you go make your way out. Now you're just there to get cleaned up?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Are you looking to do anything else while you're there? Just wanted to check.
And swim around and maybe think about life and think about where the group has gotten itself and where we're going.
Little introspection there.
A little introspection.
Yeah. Where does this leave Kieran at the end of it? Where at the end of the time he spent at the bathhouse, how do you think he feels after some healthy introspection?
How dirty's the water?
Oh, it's fucking dirty.
Is that right?
Yeah, you started swimming in it and you regretted it.
Okay.
Well, you regretted going under the water. Especially all the people. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, he just thinks about how much he wants to go to the Menta and see Bahamut and
Nice,
those
that's good.
fish. Yeah, and those magic fish. And then but mostly goes to the Celestia and still thinking about dragons and how he still hasn't found them.
Besides the one that you ride around. Yeah.
Approximation.
Wine fun rabbit. Alright, that's cool. So you get cleaned up, and like at the end of it, we're gonna say you after that experience feel a bit more refreshed and a little bit better spirits, and yeah, you're squeaky clean, even though you could have cast prestidigitation to do the same thing. Huh? Oh, okay.
Actually, not that long. I'm only 3 feet tall. That would have taken 3 castings.
No, just one. You can just clean yourself.
At least enough to clean the ordinaries again.
Yeah.
It's a cantrip. You can just be like, okay, I'm good. So you're all squeaky clean. You meet up with your dragon back outside, and I assume head back to the kip.
Yeah, I don't want to be late.
Okay. So you cats decided on what I want to kind of know from each of you what's the loadout going to be for your evening tonight. What are you bringing with you? Starting with Ness.
She's wearing her new outfit.
Yeah.
She's got her ring and her, amulet, but no weapons. No shit.
The ring and the amulet. What was the amulet again?
Well,
Oh, the Bahamut. Right.
Yeah, the
So her
Bahamut.
holy symbol
Yeah,
and the ring protection still on.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
I'm accessorizing.
Are you bringing money with you?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, so we'll say in a pouch underneath the clothing hem
Yeah.
somewhere tucked away.
Mystery head or something like that. Just
Oh.
fancy.
Awesome. Cool. Debbie.
I have a good question. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Is there somewhere along the way, like a bank or a deposit space, we could put valuables if we didn't want to keep it in the kit? Like pay a rental fee or something like that to put our stuff, to stow our stuff somewhere.
Canon. I'm gonna go with canon. There is not a banking system in Sigil
Mm-hmm.
per se. So yeah, I think you guys kind of encountered that when you're trying to change money and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you have to pretty much just go to a shopkeeper and try to hope that they have the right coinage. As far as storage lockers, that kind of thing. I mean,
Could we say go back to the rat folks and leave some things with them because now they're our buddies and they wash our stuff for us?
yeah, you could probably arrange something there.
Stop
They are pretty friendly with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you going to be leaving the house with?
Well, I figured I could put the most important things, like the leftover armor pieces and things that we have in the bag of holding, and take the bag of holding and put that at the rat folks.
How many of these leftover armor pieces? Because like it's got a 500-pound weight limit, so I'm just worried if we're going to
Oh, well, I
actually
know
start
that
reaching that.
I've got the helmet. I kept the helmet.
Right. Yeah, I don't think any of you gave
Oh,
up.
then
that
did I keep the full suit?
Well, there's also old sets of other people's armor. Like you have Nessa's old armor. I think you have a set of leathers in there.
Well, I'm just thinking about if we get raided while we're gone, right? And the thing that they're
Okay.
looking for is these armors. I don't want them there. I want them somewhere else. So,
Okay, so you just want to make sure that at least is stowed away.
yeah, at the very least that and my new sword
Okay. So all in the bag of holding.
in the bag of holding, and then I'll bring that to the place. I'll leave my, as far as when I go out in, I will just have a little satchel, like a waist satchel, that I can put money and drugs into. I'm going to try and have a dagger in my boot, and then I'm going to try and hide it. I don't want anyone to find it.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to be in my wonderful outfit. And a cloak. And I have my cloak.
for me right now. Can I get you to roll a sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand, you say?
Yeah, we're going to count this as your stealth score for your dagger.
There. Well, I rolled a 2, but I got a +10, so 12.
12. Okay. We'll see how it looks pretty hidden. Like you can't see it.
Yeah.
It looks hidden enough.
Yeah.
You know, with the billow of your pants and all that, it looks like because I assume it ends in pants, right? The jumper ends in
Yeah,
pants.
the jumper's pant.
Yeah, and it's got like a little bit of a wider cuff. to it.
Yeah, like and they're folded up cuffs too, a little bit flooded, so that you can see my really fucking awesome kicks.
So you have all of that, and then the bag of holding with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Where are your guns?
My guns are gonna be. They're in the bag of holding too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
As far as and then are you offering to put anybody else's stuff in there too?
Well, I'm with the armor and the guns. I'm pretty much at capacity, right?
Okay, yeah. Ness has that full set of splint mail that she's
That's
leaving
not
at the
in there.
kit.
We're gonna leave that in the kit. Yeah. Does anyone have anything small that they need desperately kept safe in a place?
We'll say you're back at this point too.
Huh?
You're back for all this.
Your drugs are fine. No one's going for your drugs.
No, you're good.
No, I don't have anything to put in the bag.
Can
Oh.
I try and huff a gun? Do you think I could get that in my butt?
I thought that was hoop. It's hoop.
Oh, hoop.
I thought that was hoof.
Hoop a gun.
Hoof. Either way, can I put a gun up my butthole?
Roll a
So
no.
fire it.
No, roll that.
What happens if when you pull out and go to fire it, it's just like
Well, I won't load it. Come on, man. It's not my first date.
I don't know what's Debbie's diet been like in the last couple of days.
Listen, only she would care. It's not like anyone else is going in there.
roll for anal circumference.
Oh, ass to hand.
That's a thing.
20.
Did you have anything? to
All
add?
right.
I'm just leaving like my sling at home.
Oh, as far as what you're wearing now?
Right?
Okay.
Oh,
What's
I would do that.
I
Sounds
think I got her figured out.
just like don't load it. That's fair.
Dave,
yes.
what's Rick going out in?
Well, at least his clothes that he just bought. And I was trying to figure this out in my head if this would work. He had a mantine shirt, a chain shirt, so maybe that under the silk shirt. I don't know, maybe that would work like that.
I mean, I would say fashion-wise, maybe, but as far as like protecting you, it's not too heavy. You could do up the silk shirt really tall that way, because like I would assume the chain would go to about here, and yet the silk shirt's more of a blousey kind of V. So do you want to have like
Yeah, I guess it would.
basically a blouse with a nice like
Because
basically a
it
chain
would be
T-shirt
the
underneath? Huh?
I guess it wouldn't quite work like the full shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me you're not getting bored with that for a while.
Yeah, so I just leave the armor for now. Still have my cloak.
Barely hear you. Sorry, you have your outfit plus.
Yeah, just. I guess I'll bring my
The first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You bringing a sword with you?
Yes.
Oh, before we get to you, this was something I was going to mention. Was Zaza was going to speak up and say she does. Oh, I know. I've been to Turkers before.
No sweat off my ass.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll be wearing my gloves as well. Keep them.
You know where your gloves down to?
The gloves, just
Gonna
any
die.
time, just get whatever I want. Just that big deal.
Sorry.
Zaza was when she noticed that you were. Well, actually, here. So you should beat your 12. Yeah, she beat your 12. When she knows that you were hiding the dagger and saw that you were brandishing a sword, at that point she was like, I do let you know that they have cook check and weapon check at the front door. They won't really let you have a weapon inside the place. It's not illegal per se. They won't kick you out per se, but it's kind of a show of good faith. Mostly, it is kind of a showy thing because wizards they walk around. They are a weapon, right? So you know, there's no really code checking your wizardry.
Oh, you can try to check the sword.
But just let you know, just open. I mean, open. It's a different look in there, and not too many people will have something. So I'm sure they won't find yours, but you know, just be careful, okay?
Oh yeah, no, just your good faith and stuff. I hope to someday know what that feels like.
Sorry, what?
I've lived a hard life, man. Don't go anywhere without a blade.
Right.
I feel about going to like, could you possibly fit that dwarven light cannon I have up there as well?
If you're willing to help.
If you
Yeah,
can
where the
discharge
fuck
it
is
from
she?
your butt.
I assume that
Yeah.
must have been in the bag. 'Cause that's
Load
a
it the
fucking
other way.
pain in the ass to carry around all the time.
Yeah, I think I was leaving it with the kip since we got there. Maybe it's in the bag, I forget. It's been a while since it's come up, so I'm just
Okay, we're gonna say you're just leaving it at the kip then, yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
I guess if there's room in the bag, maybe we could put it in there.
There would be room in the bag, but then that would be, I would say that would be the last item that could fit in there. Debbie, Rick filled you to the brim.
Yeah.
You can't
I just
possibly
like watching him
take
shove it
any more.
in. Yeah, I made him do it himself.
If you were to try, something bad could happen. All right, Garen. With Garen going out and all squeaky clean, he smells nice, by
I smell him. I smell him in a weird way.
the way. Debbie gets a good whiff of you.
No, she goes right up to your crotch and
Oh.
sniffs you from crotch to head.
Does it smell like dragon ass?
Yes. Sparkly dragon ass.
I'm about to bounce in there. Yeah, I'll just like leave in my weapons basically. I ask Zaza, is it?
Zaza.
Zaza, are wands? How do they feel about wands there?
I mean, the same kind of thing. You branch them, people get a little nervous. You know, leave them at the coat check. People tend to be happy. You hide it, nobody's really going to care too much. Real world equivalent is it's kind of like you can have a concealed carry, just like you keep it fucking concealed, and you don't fucking take it out for anything except for if it was a dire situation, right?
Yeah.
If there was some emergency, obviously.
Okay, in that case, I'm gonna have Sue with me.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll probably check it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sue's a revolver, right?
Yeah.
Did you load her?
No, I haven't loaded her yet, but I should load her.
Load her now.
Sorry, what are we talking about? It was
You have so many bullets now. You can
I
put
do.
one of
There's
each
so
kind.
many bullets.
Alright.
I'm
So
gonna put some dead man
Garen's
balls
gonna be
in.
wearing his armor and his cape.
Yeah.
Are you leaving your backpack?
Leaving the backpack, yeah. Or at least putting stuff in my backpack itself in the bag of holding because there's not much in it. I don't think it's just some.
No, we're full. I said we're full about
Oh.
the cannon.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you take the cannon out, you can put your backpack.
Okay, I'll just leave my backpack at the.
You leave it, you putting the cannon in the bag of holding?
Yes.
I'll bring one
have
out.
other things that are.
It's
No.
whether or not you want to leave it in the kit, or if you want to put it in the bag, which is going to the where rats. Like that's what the option is. Leave it at your place, or leave it with the rats.
I'm only bringing stuff to the rat's place that I feel like people might use against me in evidence or come for me afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care about, like, items necessarily.
I don't really have anything like that to worry about. But I guess if anybody else does, you don't have to put the cannon in the bag. Some shit that's.
I don't know. You're the last two speaks, or do you have anything?
I'm just gonna
So,
leave it.
okay, cool. So point is move, leave it in the bag, and yeah, you leave your
I'll
backpack,
take my backpack, yeah.
and you're bringing your wand.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll
Your
bring it.
wand, armor. You're wearing your necklace and all that. Okay, cool. Cool. And then for magic, you're bringing your gloves, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then for you, Jinx, you got your new outfit.
Yeah, Jinx is in her new outfit. I got my cloak on as well, and wearing my rings. And I keep my blow dart in my hair, so that's gonna stay there. But before I leave, I do want to dip some of my arrows in some
Oh yeah.
poison.
Are you going to dose? This is you've only dosed once since getting up today. You need to get your second fix in. You are starting to itch a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna dose before we go.
Speaking of which,
Oh, and also that did
Yeah, it's just
I have the mushrooms, right?
What mushrooms?
The thing that what's her face gave me?
She didn't give you anything.
Or she didn't give them to me?
No, it wasn't a trade you. It just meant like, hey, I got something to share to you.
Oh, okay.
And you're like, oh, I got belladonna, and she's like, ooh, yeah, it's not my taste. And stuff. She's still gonna share with you.
Yeah.
Are you asking about that right now, or?
Oh, I just thought that I had it. I was gonna say if I had it, I'd stick it in my hair.
She'd probably offer it up at this time. She's like, I'm assuming this is basically right before about to head out.
The pre-drinking.
Everybody's
phase?
getting
Oh, I
ready.
want to get super high. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, so Zaza uncorks that vial, and you see that there's just like black motes of something. Motes? M-O-T-E-S?
That's how I always say it.
Little black motes of something just kind of fly up on a wind current. A few fly out and tries to catch it with her tongue. Little cat tongue comes out. She kind of like scrapes one of her claws on the inside, not like against the glass in a bad way, but she scrapes them out, and she offers to each of you. Yeah? Like you go for it too?
Oh yeah. Debbie's down.
Debbie's down?
Debbie's doing mushrooms.
Okay, now we got Debs. Okay, what about you, Ness? Split.
Ness will partake of a little bit. She's gonna have some fun tonight.
Oh my god, what about the comment thing?
There you go. And she places it on your tongue. And it has kind of a black, it's not black, but it has like a burnt, acrid taste to it at first. But then there's like this, not blandness, but like a rubbery texture, almost like, yeah, like a little bit of like an actual piece of mushroom in your mouth, but like has to like clock together, and then you kind of feel it, not like chewing gum, because you're breaking through it with your teeth, but like almost like that. This soft kind of mushroomy, acrid. Anyway, yeah, it's not the best taste, but she just smiles and she just like, oh no, it's good. It's going to be really good for you. Earthy, yes. Rick.
I think Rick is not going to partake because Rick wants to keep his head down.
Rick is no fun.
Yeah.
what do these do?
They make you feel more of the music. They let you feel really, really good for a few hours, maybe. Channeling Chester, shut the
I
fuck
know,
up.
I love the cute cat lady offering the tiny gnome, goodly gnome drugs. I just want to see Kieran on drugs.
Yeah.
Please just play this character. So I love her. I love Zaza.
I'm just wondering, this person just came out of nowhere and we're all taking drugs.
You remember you have been all week. She has been mentioned by everybody.
Oh, okay.
Rosie knows her. Marigo knows her. Sven mentioned he knows her. A bunch of people that you've met. I think fucking even the Turkin knows her. Like a bunch of people have mentioned her so far. This was like a long time in the making. Like, oh, and then finally she showed up. This person that was just been talking about.
Hell yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
We used to do mushrooms in my forests back home.
But the forest gnomes is all the best.
Oh, you guys are good.
Biting the walls again. Okay. It's too good. Kieran is denying. Jinx? Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't
And she just
dosed
takes
yet.
a different fingernail, like a little bit larger one. Scrape. There you go. She puts it on your tongue. And then she takes a big old whopping for herself and suggests it's just about everybody. Okay.
Jinx hasn't dosed yet, by the way. If
Yeah,
she,
well, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Are you going without, or are you still doing it?
Right now she's gonna ride this high and see how it goes.
Okay, this isn't a supplement for belladonna, so this will not. You will still start to get itchy. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I got my darts if I need to.
Go for a dart, bud.
Yeah, I'll go for a dart. Let's see, I'll bring
Can Rick please write a song called The Belladonna Shakes?
Amazing.
bring out 4 poison darts.
Okay. For everybody who took part,
Yeah, that was highlight of your music skills.
for everybody who took the mushrooms, can I please get you to make a Constitution save?
Con saves.
Con
Oh,
save.
sorry, Babby.
It's all good. It's all good.
Con save.
I didn't take drugs. I didn't do
Can I?
You got an 8?
Yeah.
Well, not you then.
I got a 13.
Okay.
You just do
Oh,
Oh, no.
oh, these are really terrible. And Kieran?
Ness is lightweight.
And pull it for
Oh.
it.
Ah, jeez. Like,
This baby.
2.
Oh, please. Please, really? 4?
Yeah.
4? Okay.
Oh no.
Debbie's the most level-headed
Alright,
in there.
math. Okay.
For good or bad tricks.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. That's interesting.
It's spinach.
Ooh. Ness is gonna have
More
a
or
good
less.
time.
Spinach.
Kieran's I'll show you what I'll show you guys what I did afterwards, but there's a method to my madness, and yeah, you guys are gonna have a good time. You guys are gonna have a good time. All right. So it's not about violent reaction. You all take to the mushrooms just fine. Oh, just fine. It I would say for Gieran, it comes on the strongest. And we're talking like mere seconds after he takes it on his tongue. He makes a sound with his mouth, and it's not really a word, and you're worried about him for a second. And when you look over, and Ness, you would like see this right away. His pupils are. He's fucking like it's all black. It's all black, and his eyes are as wide as possible.
We're gonna go on together.
Gieran is there with you, not quite understanding what's happening to you, but a little bit worried. Are you breaking? Are you? Can't quite breaking him. Are you dismissing him?
I don't want to get there.
Okay. Good to know. Any other preparations or
I
anything
wonder what
else? You do.
Lyrics would start looking like if you're really hot.
Oh, Jesus. I'll be there,
Right? Because your brain would kind of, he's a representation of your own, you manifested,
yeah.
right? So how much does super high Gieran affect what Gierix looks like? Does he get eyes all over his body?
It's not quite like a hallucination, like an imagining per se, but I imagine you would see it in all kinds of modular ways. I would say the feeling that you overall start with is a sense of euphoria. That it's slowly building euphoria, and it's starting to get put a nice smile on your face. Okay, so if there's nothing else, we'll just say you find a couple of rickshaws.
Yeah.
Going down in 2 rickshaws and a dragon. Right? Is that how you're getting down there? 2 rickshaws and a dragon?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you flying here?
I jump on and just go, fly off to the
God. He'll make it there. And
Wait, does that mean that Girax will be high too? Because you're high?
No. They don't share the same mind or nervous system. That would be fun. maybe once you learn to learn for them, whatever state you bring into it. Anyway, so mark off for each of the cart riders. I don't know how you paired off, but it'll be 3 gold each rickshaw.
who's in my rickshaw? Alrighty.
And it was a discounted price because Debbie had talked them down. You guys all look very, very fancy.
You're welcome.
It's going to say certain things automatically.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, wow.
You get 5 gold from the cab driver's pocket.
And let's see. Dave, go ahead and roll me a d6. Music to cue up a second.
Six.
Okay. You guys do get stuck in a bit of traffic along the way there, and you don't get there as early as you hoped.
Did you stop by the rat folks?
Oh, that's right. You were
Sorry.
to reference.
Yeah, they were really close.
Okay. Well, one of the entrances was close by, but you actually all it takes is checking out the lower ward. As you're going through the lower ward on your rickshaw, as you see some rat folk beggars that are on the side, one of which you recognize just from the festivities, not from anything else, but kind of recognizes you and kind of gives a bit of a nod, and you stop the car.
How are you? It's so good to see you.
This
Sorry,
human.
she is so hot right now.
Do you have your hood up and everything right now too? It's just on and everything. It's like, oh,
It's me, it's Ness.
oh,
You probably don't recognize me because I got a new outfit.
yes, yes, you have. Good to see you, friend. Off to a fancy thing, are you?
She's really excited. She might have a malform.
Alric, Alric,
Alex.
Alright, okay.
Well, I hope you have a wonderful time.
Hey, man, you do need a solid.
Of course. I need to see you guys.
I need to put this somewhere safe. And if you were to go and bring this to your, Lennon, what's the name of the leader? Again,
Rosie Whiteman.
Rose, thank you. I knew it was Rosie. I couldn't remember the last. If you could bring this to Rosie and tell her to stow it, I promise to make it up to her in dollars, in like solid gold.
Oh, gold and
Yeah,
jink.
yeah.
Wow.
And Jake, yeah. If you would stow this for me for the evening, I'll pick it up in the morning. Don't let nobody near it. Hide it real good.
Right
and,
on, you miss.
and then
Of course.
I'm gonna give that rat person a gold as well for their
All right,
service.
he looks at it. We should really use the money right now, miss. Thank you very much.
Yeah, totally. I'm like gonna hook it all up. So if you could just bring that back for me, that'd be swell. And I'll be seeing you in the morning.
Thank you so much, you guys are
And
awesome.
can I measure like can I tell if he's a safe, trustworthy person?
Roll inside.
What's my inside?
Oh.
There it is. Okay, that's not great. 14?
14. He looks like he's absolutely enthusiastic, fanboy of UCAF, like knows he understands the situation, competent.
Oh, you guys are so nice.
Right away. We'll do it right away.
Thank you.
And he kind of explains to the ones around him who you are in case they had missed it and whatever. And just like, oh, it's Debbie and the Jets.
Jenny and the Jets, we made some friends. Cool. Rosie. Yeah.
Cool. So your bag of holding is no longer with you. It is now with Rosie Whiteman.
Sweet. Fantastic. Was anybody watching that interaction? Did we see that? Was anything?
Well, you were kind of busy doing that interaction. Are you just looking after the fact?
Yeah, just looking to see if anybody was paying attention.
Okay, roll a perception.
Where is the percent? There it is. 18.
Okay, no, as far as you can tell, you do see some hard heads out on the street, but they don't seem to be paying you any mind.
Cool. Alright, so off to the concert then.
Oh.
Okay. How will we find them? We'll just go back to the rat folks. It's fine.
No, I mean the rest of the
The rest of what? They'll meet us there. Everybody is a jerkers. Don't worry, baby
Yeah,
girl.
you
We'll get there.
arrive just slightly after the main group. It's fine. I'm just going to change the music over real quick. I know it sounds so different, but.
Meow. 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 Meow.
I think it's appropriate. Don't fall asleep on me yet. Chirpers, 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 chirpers. Okay, so this magnificent building from the outside, a good 3 stories tall as you come up upon it. It's lit by so many torches around there. It's in the streets around Chirpers. It's well cobbled. There are coachmen that are taking basically valet service, bringing various people's who are arriving, putting them out to the stable. And you arrive up, and obviously since you have your rickshaws, you just pay them and get out. You look all absolutely fabulous right now, I'd say. You meet each other all on the red carpet outside. You've been waiting 10 minutes. It's D&D, gotta roll shit, right? Yeah, you've been waiting about 10 minutes before Ness and Debbie pull up. You got there before the rest of the group, so probably waiting a little bit longer. And Zaza said she just meet you here, and she's already here. But she is in a sparkling red, off the one shoulder, floor-length dress. Looks very glamorous, like something you might have seen last night. I think I saw it in gold last night with somebody in the crowd just wearing all sequins all the way down.
It does smells like a dirty whore.
Yeah, no, she actually still stinks. Like, she does stink real bad, but she looks good. She smiles. Shall we go in front? Links arms with Ness and with Jinx and just drags you inside. At the door itself, we have who is working the door tonight?
Pull up their schedule.
Yeah. Oh, right on. So there is a large, well-muscled, red-scaled dragonborn gentleman who's in fancy attire, long coattails that split on either side of his tail, and but very big and burly, and just is greeting everybody as they're coming in and kind of giving them the once over to make sure that this is the kind of folk that belong here. Have you already dismissed Gearin at this point?
No, he'd be following second law.
So is Gearin going into the place? I didn't realize this.
Oh, I thought he was going at the same time.
Right, so I'm asking Gearin. Sorry, not Gearin. Sorry,
Gearin.
Gearin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is your eyeline coming inside?
I would have forgotten that he was there because I'm so high, and so he would just be following me as I come along.
Alright, the Dragonborn, just, the rest of you are just passing by, you're fine, and he's got this kind of yeah, you guys are all great, whatever, smiling, looks at you, he's smiling, and then looks kind of behind you at Garrix as Garrix is bounding along, and you see the smile, and from the drug trip that you're now experiencing, this is kind of funhouse mirror kind of distorted above you, and on his face is just been trying to resolve his features, and you're I'm so not used to seeing a dragonborn. This is so weird to see. They look like a man, but they look like a dragon. It's very confusing. And he just is, and you don't see a smile anymore, but a bit of a scowl. And he just kind of points over your shoulder and just says, "No, not coming in." Oh shit. Right, with you? Oh, did you make him disappear?
Yeah.
It was some kind of illusion.
It's Girax.
What's a Girax? Never heard of it.
It's my Eidolon.
At this point, all of your friends have already now moved on to code check. Would any of you have noticed that Kieran is not with you?
Rick would, since apparently Rick is
Okay, Rick, we're gonna say, what's your passive perception? Millions. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think it's like
Millions
12.
of millions.
Oh, no, 16.
Okay, that's still pretty damn high. Okay, so yeah, you notice that Kieran is not at your side, and you turn back and you see that the bouncer is still kind of like holding him on the bed.
Alright, so you're back there and be like, is everything okay over here? Is he with you? Yeah, he's with me. Don't mind him, he's just had a little bit more than he can handle right now. He's our situation. He's just a little strange.
I like a cake.
Okay.
Get in there. Whatever. You walk past the dragon. You get up to coat check. I was working coat check tonight. Oh, yes. There is a, immediately to your right, there is a booth set up, or cut out in the wall where you see a gnome about 3 feet tall that is standing on a stool with this kind of grayish green skin and green hair that kind of starks back but comes together in a braid. Like, it looks like it's wild. It does not want to get under control, so the most she can do is almost like as if you were to tie like dreads or an afro or something into a knot at the very end because it's so springy or so like uncontrollable. Anyway, so it's her version of an updo. But she says, "Oh, welcome, friends. Welcome to Troopers. I can coat check here. Can I take your cloaks? Any of your weapons?" She sees the sword. Yeah.
I have the sword and cloak.
Sword and cloak.
Yeah.
Okay, she takes it up. Okay, one sword and one cloak. Here you go, sir. And she takes a little stone tablet. It's like very, very thin. It looks like a chocolate bar, or even like a cell phone, but that size and shape. Made of gray stone, and there are 2 symbols on it, and a bit of a jagged etching through the middle of it. The 2 symbols are identical. She breaks it in 2. She hands you one. And then she takes the other one and places it in this really shallow but very wide bowl. As soon as she puts it in the bowl, a black hole appears. Just no light reflecting whatsoever, pure blackness. Takes the sword, takes the cloak, and the black hole disappears.
Yes.
I won't
Come back and you can get, and I'll be happy to retrieve it for you. So you do see that there is a bit of a wooden box sort of attached as part of the counter as well there with a little bit of a slot on top of it.
for tips.
Oh, yeah.
Does Debbie say that, or are you usually being like, hey?
I think she just gives him an elbow to the side and nods at it.
Drop a silver piece there, I guess.
Jinx. Jinx is in awe.
You drop the silver? You notice because of your high passive perception as you're dropping the silver in, the pile where she puts the half blocks. There's a couple of piles of them behind the desk there, and she just goes from putting it in one place. She just moves it over to a more well organized spot, a little easier, more accessible. You checking anything else?
I want to try.
You seem really happy.
That thing is so cool, dude.
I like your aesthetic. Anyway.
Thanks.
All this. Sorry, what are you checking?
Oh, my cloak.
Your cloak. Okay, so she takes the cloak, breaks off the thing. You get the stone block. You don't have to write it down, but you do have a Chirper's stone code check block. And yeah, she does the same thing. Creates a black hole, drops it in there. She lets you know as she's doing this thing. They all go to a separate pocket dimension, completely inaccessible by anybody except for those with the full. To open it, you have to have both pieces again reunited. So you bring that back to me, and I'll be sure to retrieve your stuff there. Anybody else want to check their stuff?
I'll be checking the jacket and this, and I
pull my revolver out like it's the biggest dick in the world.
Just like right there against
Just
your
like,
thigh.
and this here, man.
And it's like a long barrel and you're a
Yeah.
short person. Like I know you're whole 4 feet
It's
tall. But
impressive.
yeah, it's impressive. And she looks at it, looks down all the way down to the tip of it, and then all the way back up to you. Absolutely. I'll be very careful with this one. And she kind of holds it, but like she holds it like somebody who's not disgusted with guns, but is really nervous with guns. Like
And
that is
she
like.
picks it up, I say,
And you get your stone.
I get my stone, and then I put a gold in her tip box.
Okay.
And I'm marking it off. I've got how much money I have with me. Don't worry.
And she, you can tell she's pretty happy with that. Is that everybody? Check the stone.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Dollar bills. Okay.
Oh, my sling.
What?
Did you bring it down, or did you just leave it at home? You can bring it with you and have it checked.
I brought
if
the
you want.
wand. Yeah, I guess if everybody else is gonna get there, I'd see that.
Yeah. Are you checking your wand? Okay. Cool. Same thing for you. Are you leaving it too? Were you leaving it too?
Oh, like,
I mean, you did just. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt because you just saw other people just do that.
yeah. I'll probably give them a call.
Okay.
It's just the first coin that comes out of my pocket. I don't really look at it. Actually, wait, this is D&D.
Roll it.
Roll it out.
Roll it. Ride.
No, I'll do a sword.
Cool. Very cool. All right. So you make it past her and into the main hall / dining area, where there's the very long oblong bar. There's the brass eagle mounted just inside the foyer as you were coming in, above the oaken archway. There are various waiters running around. There's a minotaur bartender making drinks behind the bar. Female persuasion, pretty much down. There's the 3 great crystal globes that are hanging above all the diners. The crystal globes contain, as described in that last session of ours that you got to hear, was basically a bat fly, that really cool lava tiger, and an eye wing. They were all that one eye wing was the one that was like the bat fly was that like weird little insectoid one, where the eye wing was the eyeball with wings and was crying constantly and filling up the bottom of its crystal sphere with tears. There's like a small pool of its tears. Doesn't seem to bother anybody at all as the diners are going about their business. There's many tables in the main area, and you can see through the glass panel a private dining area as well. You hear some nice music playing from a band. Sure. You hear some nice music from a band somewhere out of sight. But there is definitely some raucousness coming from the private section. Looking through the glass, like just noticing it right away, just from like somebody like shouting and hollering, just like a little too loud for the comfort of like a place like this. You turn and see there's a number of dwarves in there, a couple of gnomes, some elves, just a whole party of people that seem to be having a bit of a good time during their
Oh,
dinner.
we are gonna make friends with them.
Rick, if you want to get up and grab a drink, anybody else coming with me?
Sorry, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, a bar host approaches you and says, "Can I grab you folks a table? You got six of you?
Yes.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. All right. Right this way." And leads you to a table that seems to be. Let's see here. It's 6 chairs around a green and gold painted birch table. It seems to be inlaid with carvings of various types of birds.
Pretty.
As chirpers is the name of the place. There is a bit of a bird motif
Oh, I
in some
get
of the
it.
tablecloths, the napkins, and around there. But it's no single bird, just a variety. And so,
Are we all birds? They can't be blue tin, perhaps.
Excuse me.
Think
I'm a
there's any
blue
tits in
tits.
German? Yeah, you are a blue tit.
The buyer says, please be seated. Anastriana will be with you in a moment to take your order. And if you're here for the show, you're right in time. I think it's going to be starting just a little bit later as they taking a little longer finishing up their dinner. Enjoy Checkers. And as you're looking around, as you're taking a seat, you see that there's a lot of full tables around you. There's a variety of people around them. There's also people standing and milling about at side, waist-high sort of, what's that called, bars, open bars, where you have like that much shelf or whatever.
You can call it a sidebar?
Sidebar or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like it's a wall and then you have like this much of a shelf coming out of it and you just put your drink there.
Oh
Or,
yeah.
like run the length of it kind of thing. Yeah, anyway.
How big is the inside of this place?
It's pretty huge. The spheres themselves, those crystal spheres, are like a good 10-foot, like 10-foot big square, or 10-foot spheres each. And they're just in the center of the main room, and the main room extends out. Do I even have an idea of that? It's 50, 60 feet more. It's huge in here.
So it's like 300 plus tables of people.
Oh, no. No. I mean, I would say it's more like, if we were to compare it to a real life bar, let's go slightly bigger than Pub 340. Not that quality, but slightly bigger than Pub 340 in terms, oh no, not that. That's still small.
Like the Legion maybe on commercial?
Yeah, it's like high vaulted ceilings and it's quite a large main dining area. I'm thinking that it's quite big, but it doesn't have to have so many tables. It doesn't have 300 tables.
Yeah.
It's not packed in like that. There seems to be out in the main area, in the main dining area that you're in, and then the rest of the area is more of like a lounge kind of bar along the wall drinking area, so it wouldn't be like necessarily the same thing. But for tables, there's about 8 of them that are fairly large that seat maybe up to 10 people each. And then there's the private section, and then there's additional people that are standing around, and then there's people up at the bar itself.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's some gambling going on, not at the dining tables, but off in the more casual areas. People are just having fun, having drinks, getting ready for the show. There's a lot of younger folk overall, more crowded, not in the bar or restaurant-y area, but kind of just lounging around a pitcher of water by the doors to the theater, waiting for it to open, sharing a pitcher of water between them, not tipping the staff. Anyway.
We won't be those people.
So yeah, you get seated at this table, and you see around you the tables that are adjacent to you. There's one that has about 4, seems to be reserved for them. There's a little placard on the table that you can't quite read. Seems to be 2 barrier, which are those sort of centaur people, a high elf and a human, and they're all finely dressed, like really rich, high fashion clothing. And just their noses, when they're talking with each other, are very upturned and very haughty in their laugh and their candor. And,
Ooh, I hope that
kind
we
of
make
snobbish, maybe.
friends.
You can't quite tell. The table on the other side of you, there's another set of 4. These ones look a little bit more out of place in that they didn't quite get the memo about the dress code. They still look good enough for being in here, but they're definitely wearing their armor. A few of them still have their weapons on them and are looking around fearfully at some of the more exotic races, like the little fish out of water. can tell that maybe they might have gotten here. You might be their elders to this game of Sigil by days,
Yeah.
possibly.
Bigger
But
than
there's
we
a
are.
half-orc, a halfling, an elf, and a golden-haired and golden-eyed human. And then the rest, there's a couple of hippo men that catch your eye that seem to be in like military attire, but like kind of unbuttoned a bit, like big pauldrons with the frills and everything, and sash with like all the different war badges, and they're giant hippo men. One of them has a monocle, and they're drinking out of giant steins and seem to be carousing about something. We have at one table, and I want your help with this, Alicia. There's this high elf that's really pale, and what would her high level version look like again? What's her super fancy dress version?
I don't remember what I said.
Okay, well we're gonna say something that is like very black on black
Yeah, the blackest of black blacks.
with straps.
Lots of straps, but like
High collar?
I'm still high collar, but like big hood as well. Real big hood that's kind of down over her face a bit, so you
down
can see
over.
about this much.
Really? But you're hanging out with a friend of yours, one of your besties.
Well, which one? My zombie friends?
No, but like just work
I'm
with
your
me on this.
bestie. Yeah, but like this is for Cal. This is for a different
Different
Cal.
character.
Cal.
So, yeah,
Cal.
there's
Cal. I'm gonna Cal.
this very pale, very deathly looking, very black clad, gothy elf chick that is sitting at a table with another elf looking person who has got more of a golden complexion to her skin and a shock of white hair done
Her
up
name's
in.
Brittany.
Her name's Corell.
Okay.
And a black circlet that kind of holds all the hair up, and they actually there's 4 people at the table, but you wouldn't really count them as the one beside Kel is a zombie in fancy attire, and the one beside the other person seems to be a skeleton in a bow tie.
Yeah.
Because like, where do you put the clothes on the skeleton? Really? But
Hang them off the bow tie.
yeah, a couple of interesting looking mages hanging out at a table together. And there is a larger table filled with a variety of well-dressed individuals, not as snobbily dressed, not as high fashion, but just like well-to-do, lots of rings, lots of gold banglets and necklaces, and a lot of display of wealth in that group. And
We just kind of sat there.
feasting greedily.
Giving like what you got, and then I can take.
I might as well keep giving you a couple of tables here. We got one table that has a barrier, a human, and 2 giths. And the gith, it's a man and a woman. One of them looks kind of funny in her, like the man is wearing the Gith Sarai style monkish robes or monkish attire. She's wearing, I guess you would call it a shirt or a blouse. There's no buttons on it. It kind of seems to be one piece, and stamped or painted on the front of it is that bearded, top-hatted dwarf fellow hack. Just the most roughest, kind of like poorly rendered, and like
Awesome. Cheap and
like
swag.
somebody who's like only heard of what hack looks like might have just made some cheap swag.
That's amazing.
And yeah, this one gets, she's got this T-shirt on it, and she also happens to have an instrument on her back at the table. And lastly, for the last table that you can see, there seem to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you would recognize as Doomguard, as you would seen Doomguard before when you had first arrived through the Plain of Dust, pretty much that citadel that was run by the Doomguard, and their insignia, which is a sort of, I believe it's a sort of skull. I don't know. 'Cause they're all about the entropy. Yeah, it's kind of like a crab skull thing.
Oh yeah, I've seen
That
that.
thing. That adorns their armor all over, as well as a regular skull motif and kind of a blackness to their clothes. Now, out of the 5 at the table, 4 of them are wearing large pauldrons with blades on them, and one of them doesn't seem to have the big pauldrons and has less of the more distinguished decorations of what would be a full-fledged member. But there's I would say this to Debbie, I'm just giving it to you, there's a large, heavy-looking sack of something sitting in front of that person at that table.
Oh yeah.
So that's a brief description. Jesus Christ.
So we should go sit over there.
We're already sitting at a table and we've been seated.
I know.
Yeah, they're 2 tables over from you.
Wait,
Do we have our
we'll get our
drinks yet?
drinks and we'll just like.
Yeah,
eat
your
girl?
server comes over non-binary Shardakai elf. So like imagine like really pale elf, shaved head, has a nose piercing to a chain that leads to the
Oh, so
ear.
basically my crush. It's basically like that for me.
It's Desi as a Hellraiser kind of self.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Basically comes up and she's like, "Can I take your order?"
There.
There,
Yeah, actually, a tall glass of you.
oh,
Winky face.
well.
I'm charming.
Raz been over there, has a few special cocktails tonight, and otherwise we have a selection of about 200 wines from across the multiverse. So anything that tickles your fancy, I'm
Do you
sure.
have anything from the celestial planes?
Well, sure, honey. We've got a number of honeymeads that are from Mount Celestia.
Yes! I will have your finest honeymead from the celestial plane!
The finest.
So happy.
Absolutely. She just like puts it down there.
So happy. Mushrooms are great.
Okay, and for Debbie?
Debbie wants liquor, scotch of some sort, type scotch, strong alcoholic type liquid.
We have a number of varieties from Orth. I can definitely get you a nice vintage. Do you want it more smoky?
Yeah, give me some of that peat. Light it on fire like it was her daddy's campfire.
Like your daddy's okay, I will try that.
That's what I want right now. I'm sorry, I'm just dreaming.
What is going on? Rick, what do you have?
Ciders included.
Okay, absolutely. We got a nice variety of ciders from the Beastlands. The fruit that grows there is just quite exquisite. So, for your sip there, young sorry, good sip.
Pudding
You want pudding?
in a cup. Pudding in a cup.
Pudding in a cup.
You would come.
I'll ask Adri about that for sure. Pudding in a cup. That's
So you want it?
I mean, I think we have some pudding on the go, and we got cups, so sure, yes, sir, absolutely.
He's not even listening, he's just staring at his hand.
and for you?
Tell me what you wanted.
Well, can they make me a drink that's like tastes like earth, like kind of dirty, you know? Tastes like
So you
like
want us to
coal.
not wash the glass, or?
Well, something that tastes like earthy.
Okay. She gives you a
Dirt.
quick, she gives you a quick once over, and like, Jinx hasn't bathed. You guys, there is a chance to wash up a little bit here. There are lavatories that they do point out to you.
Jinx totally gave herself a bath when she was a rat.
That
counts in Jinx's
technically
head.
true. Okay, well, yeah, so, but she does give you a once over and kind of gets your motif and go, oh, okay, Drew, sure, yeah. Drew and brew. It's basically just going to be a mulled wine of sorts. So you get a mulled wine, alright. And Zaza gets mulled wine as well. She enjoys mulled wines. Can't stick together.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's already a nice bit. Let's turn this down a little bit. So let's get that drink real quick. No, okay, there we go. So, you're there. It's quite busy. Things are going on around you. Yeah, drinks get brought to the table. And you notice that the elf seems to use like a little bit of mage hand to help her out with all the trays. So there's like tray, and then just a third tray floating in front of her with just a slight dose of spectral hand. Because, magic gets it done. Yeah. And the drinks are absolutely delicious. Yours is thick. But it's ambrosia. It is quite good. You've never had anything better. But it is like, it comes in a little tiny chalice, and it's like a thimble. It is meant to be like, you take it like it's nectar.
I would like to make a toast to all of you. As it is written in the book of Vanathor, the Golden Harpist, music makes the heart grow fonder. And I am feeling that my heart is so much fonder with all of you around. My friends, keep your friends close and your enemies far from the tree. Cheers!
Okay.
Yeah.
Your whiskey is nice and peaty. Your
Excellent.
cider kind of reminiscently tastes like strawberry. They give you pudding. It is a chocolate pudding, and it's in a cup.
Yeah.
They give you a spoon, just because they didn't know what else to do. And the mulled wine is quite delicious and hearty. They ask if you want any kind of anything to eat.
Chicken wings.
Appetizers, sure. We can bring over some meaty appetizers for you.
Want 'em hot. Super, super spicy.
Okay.
Hellfire styles.
You're just gonna love this. Okay. So Hellfire, very spicy. Okay. Spicy wings coming up. Anything else, cats?
Kale.
Kale. I will look that up in the Codex of Planes and see what I can find for you.
On the earth plane. With the hipster mark.
It doesn't exist outside of Earth.
Maybe some kind of vegetable meat skewer things, not super spicy.
Kebabs. Okay. Kebabs. Okay. Kebabs. Cool. Alright. So, food is brought back after a little bit. Now, in this time, there's a lot going on. People who are at some of the tables do get up occasionally and go around to, say, visit some of the tables that have the gambling going. There's, a number of... There's one individual, by the way, up at the bar who might also draw your attention, who's definitely a turtle person. All you see is the back of a shell and the little stub of a tail that is
Oh, I need to
occasionally
know.
swinging out.
I want to know. I want to hear Lennon come up with a turtle man's voice, so I want to go on talking to him.
Oh yeah, no, we don't have one here.
Are you? Are you doing it?
Zaza, we got a bit of time before the show. We should go and mingle, right? Get to know some of these folks.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good
Can
idea.
you tell me anything about that turtle man right over there? Oh, he's got my eye. And my shell.
You do it, it's right from
Oh.
there. I'm not doing it for you.
I don't
No.
know that one myself.
I'm not your mother.
I mean, I could go make the introduction for you if you want, if you're too shy.
Oh no, I'm not too shy.
Uh,
I'm just trying to get the insight. Do you know anything else about these folks around us? Do you recognize anybody here?
and she looks around, and what are you doing?
Plugging in.
There's one right behind her, though.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks around. Let's see. No. Oh, she points out that one of the gothy elven women is her name is Corel the Black. She's said to have a dragon enslaved in a mountain somewhere, but I mean, wizards brag all the time, and they say shit like that. But she seemed legit. I mean, then her and her friend there could probably take down a small army, I'm sure. I don't know the gift, but they're probably not from around here. They tend to hang out in space, Realm Space. I don't know if you've ever been to Realm Space.
No idea what you're talking about.
Don't worry about it. It gets really heady. Don't let them talk to you about it. They really like gunpowder, though. I see your guns would definitely draw their attention.
What guns? Debbie's defaulting to I am not a crook.
And as far as, and then she kind of goes in a husher tone, and she's like, and as far as these fucks beside us, and she points at the table of the really well dressed high-to-dos. She's like, a bunch of art critics.
Oh.
Yeah, they're probably here to write reviews about the concert, but these bastards, they think everything revolves around their opinions.
Sweet.
And
So
she hushes up as one of them, the high elf, kind of like side eye hers for a second, goes back to her drink.
I'm sure they're very gullible, charming fellows.
What else?
Also very rich and friendly.
Okay, so I got some rolls here. Let's go with Debbie.
Yep.
I'll need you to, since you're taking such an interest around the tables and you're checking all the tables out, make a perception check for me.
Perceptive.
Yeah.
17.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. That's enough. Okay. And Rick, I need you to make one for me. Make a perception check for me. Yeah. These two apply to both of you. So.
Wait, let me double check this.
Fault hat.
I'm looking at the DC that I wrote down, and I'm like, Ness would just see this anyway, but I'm gonna, you know what? I wouldn't make you get it automatically, but I will let you roll as well, just because you're high.
I'm high.
So I'll give you a fighting chance, but there's a chance.
This is perception?
Yeah.
Passive perception for the initiative.
No.
22.
5, 6. Okay. Okay. So a few things. Starting with Debbie. Debbie, you're looking around the room. You're trying to spot, all these well-to-dos, and your eyes are immediately drawn back to the table with the money on the. Or
Yes,
what's,
it is.
The sack of what could be
I want it.
coin-shaped lumps.
Money.
And you, for a second, actually lock eyes with the one without the pauldrons, and seems to be a human man, a little bit of a small, well-trimmed goatee or whatever, dark around the eyes a bit, but blue piercing eyes, and just looks right at you for a second. Doesn't show any emotion, one way or the other, but just stares at you for a second before just going back and looking they got back to whatever conversation's at hand. Not Rick, Ness. So Rick, you're I just want to say probably what you're more occupied with is you have your cider, it's really delicious. The wings are out, they're really hot and spicy. You guys are going through it, and there's lots of napkins brought to the table, lemon water. And Rick, you're side eyeing the private booth here and there because you're recognizing the one cat from the poster. There's a top hat over in that dining booth, and it's bobbing up and down. You're trying to catch a glimpse of what's this guy like? I'm not sure how much of you wouldn't necessarily be a fan. You've never heard this guy before, but you're pretty curious about it, I'm sure. And because you're curious about that, you don't notice. You do. That as you're looking around the room and you're just smiling, you're having a great time, and you could have sworn maybe with that roll, the Minotaur bartender does kind of give you a wink from across the way. She does. You get a little attention there. And then just goes back to what she's doing, and then you notice over by the door about 4 harmonium patrolmen and one in a brown duster and a fedora. walk in to the front door and start making their way around to a side room that seems to be in the direction of the lavatories and the kitchens. But you recognize the one in the brown duster as Detective Zerlis. And so you know this, and have seen this, and then of course you saw your thing.
You start freaking out. It's alright. We're cool. We're good. We're good. We're cool. We're not. I'm not Sven. Who's Sven?
I look cool though, right? I look cool, right?
You look really
I
cool.
look
She looks really cool,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So the rest of you now that it's been pointed out, you do look over and you see the Hargonian. And, yeah, they don't seem to be paying you any mind, though. Zerilius is like doing a pan around the room right before entering what seems to be like some sort of side office thing, and seems to stop at your table. But the face, which doesn't move or anything, just looks blankly in your direction, and then turns and greets is greeted by the oh geez, who's the manager?
Yeah.
Oh yes, the tiefling that opens the door and lets him in there, and then the other 4 patrolmen seem to just stand outside the door. Yeah. So that's going on. What else would you like?
It's like like our stuff. Wait.
Huh?
I misunderstood that. Where did they let him into?
Basically, the manager's office.
Oh, okay.
The manager let him into the manager's office, and the four other policemen are standing outside it.
Y'all keep your peepers on them, right? I'm gonna steal stuff. Didn't say that.
But do you?
No. Yes, but in a way that I grift it, not steal it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, there's gambling going on. There's dancing going on. There's eating to be had. You have a little bit of time left. We'll say at this point, maybe half an hour before the show starts. Think about what you want to do. We're talking.
My mom.
For once.
Grifting. She can't help it. It's written into her goddamn character. I can't even help it. Where the fuck is it? Charlatan. I lie about almost everything, even when there's no need. Yeah. Oh, and then flaws. I can't resist swindling humans and other first-class citizens, so I'm going to go and talk to the arts people and also the people who look like they have a lot of money that I want to grift.
Do you want to do that? Anybody else want to do anything? Just
Anyone
Debbie starts to
have
get up
something
at
fun?
the table.
I'm gonna get another drink, but I'm not gonna wait till the person. I'm gonna go to the bartender and get it.
Yeah, you are.
For a milk.
That's utterly wrong.
How about the 3 of you? You sit at the table. Ness goes and saunters off up to the bar. And Debbie starts to get up to go give a piece of her mind.
Jinx turns to Zaza and says,
Yes, darling.
"So what's your story, man?"
I am from Toril. It's an ethereal plane. It's got some nice people there. It's not so nice people, but I haven't been there in many years. I've been spending most of my time in Arborea, and where the elves live and the unicorns. Been making friends with unicorns is really sweet. They're very cool. They have lots of stories because they live a long time, and they they seem to be on the same level as a lot of us druids. They protect nature and all that, and I don't know, they're pretty sweet. It's good to be friends with the unicorn, I think.
I saw a unicorn once,
But it was dead.
Yeah, it was still
You're not
talking.
It was like undead, but it was like,
An undead unicorn.
yeah, where we came from was really sad.
everything was ended. Where we came
Is
from.
this true?
It's not a very nice place.
Huh?
It wasn't a very nice place.
Are you from the Shadowfell or?
No, we're from. Well, I don't really know where we're from.
You knew it as Wormwood, but I don't think you knew like.
You guys do know the name
Oh, we do know the name of the place.
More
Now.
or less.
What was it?
Darren, anything?
I have it written down.
I'm waiting for him.
It's here.
You went to what?
London.
Oh, okay.
What was that?
Well, this is like just in a brief second. You just
Yeah.
Jinx.
Yeah.
What was that thing that they called where we're from? You know, you remember things, right?
I just look up and my face is just covered in pudding. I'm so
I will say this word.
Alice.
Alice.
Alice. And she's like, I've never heard of it, but it sounds like a horrible place. Are you going back there?
We kind of maybe fixed it, but we don't really know. We jumped through a hole and supposed
That's how things go. That's how you end up in the plains. That's how we all end up in the plains. It's usually not on purpose.
to.
Just some hole opens up, you fall down something, fall a long way, and all these like weird things go past you, and like symbols and people talking, and then you're in a different place, and you land after all of that, and you're not even hurt. I don't understand.
Well, that wasn't even what. Wow, that's a lot. We just like jumped in. Well, like I was supposed to just die, but we just jumped into a hole, and then we were floating around, and we couldn't breathe. But then we put helmets on, and then we could breathe. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
It
he
was
like
scary.
serious boy.
Sorry? What was that last one?
It was scary though.
Oh, it sounds like you've had a great loss.
Yeah, we've had a few of those.
Yeah. Did you lose anybody who's close to you?
Opal! Opal!
We loved him so much.
I didn't really get to know the thing yet, but yeah, I got speared through the stomach.
And she just, you see such, like, her cat eyes just get so big and chibi, and all of, like, the light
Like
reflections just like, and she looks so sad, and you're like, you want to just burst out crying just looking at her. You have no idea, you don't even really feel anything much about it, but that face makes you want to cry. And she's just like, oh, honey,
Oh.
if I take you to meet the unicorns, they're pretty cool. If you drank of their pond, you'd be okay again. It restores you completely.
So just gonna say I'm gonna piss on her face.
Yeah.
I want to meet the unicorns.
Kind of the bird.
It don't actually help you just like this one.
Well, I'm the same druid that my mom was, and her mom, and her mom, and her mom, and all of the women in my family. My mom says it's the circle of the moon.
Same as me. You know how to change the animals.
Yeah.
You come with me to see the unicorns. All kinds of animals live on that plain. It's just an endless forest. It's very beautiful. And the time is wibbly wobbly, and you know, who knows? It might not take very much time to go visit them, but if before you go back to that dreadful place you came from, maybe you should come with me and go visit the. I'd like that very much.
I would love
Let's
that.
cut to Garen. Garen, you were leaving the table? Were you leaving the table or were you doing something?
No, I just looked up, putting a look at my face and went, huh? Trying to talk to me. And then I'm just kind of staring around the room again.
Yeah, and don't forget you guys are hi. And the mushroom trip is kicking in quite hard. It is still hitting Garen the hardest. Debbie, you're actually your trip is you're taking it in stride.
Yeah.
You seem to be well adapted to it, and by that I mean like the feeling isn't too overpowering. You feel like you're in control. You don't get paranoid about it at all. You might be feeling the opposite.
No, she's done this too.
Ness and Jinx, you're kind of in the far, kind of middle to far out the deep end.
This is not something I'm used to.
No, it is quite strong. You're gonna have a better trip than Giran, but it's still gonna be so let us go back to Debbie approaching the table next to you.
That's where all the rich folks are.
That's where all the rich folks are.
Well, hello, fellers.
Okay, so you just the four of them, the two warriors, a man and a woman, the elf and the female elf and the male human, they're all like sitting there at their table and their food is done. They all seem to be enjoying their wine, and then just kind of stop and look your way. You see the high elf. She's just like,
Well, how
Yes?
are you folks this evening?
oh, we don't want any dessert. We're fine. There.
Oh, no, I don't. I'm here for the show.
And she looks you up and down and goes, oh,
Can't you tell? Look at how fabulous
I see. That's a word for it, for sure. I'm glad everybody gets a chance to see. Yeah, and with the emphasis on everybody, that I'm glad everybody gets a chance to see Hackett on his last tour date.
Oh, yeah? Is this your first time seeing him as well?
No, second. I got to see
Second.
him near the beginning of the tour, and I
Oh.
wanted to see how it progressed.
I heard that he has had quite a career. I am so excited
Me
to see
too.
him tonight. Might I say, I love your dress. Debbie says as well, she sits down beside them.
Oh, okay. And she says that, like, oh, thank you. Yes.
Oh, there's no
Well.
received
And the male human beside her is just like, really, this is quite improper.
I want to persuade them to like me and want me to stay at the table.
Okay, give me your pitch before you roll.
Don't
Give me
sit on
what's your
that.
pitch?
My pitch is that I agree with them that it is quite lovely and nice to see so many different kinds of folks in one area, and that it's nice that you get to come be amongst the common folks sometime because it gets you in touch with what they're about. And I say it like I am one of them, like I believe it and agree with it wholeheartedly.
Oh my goodness.
This is awesome.
Okay. Well, again, we're gonna go with your deception, not your persuasion. All that lying really makes it hard. You have to try to be believable.
Well, I'm believable.
I believe you,
I
but
know.
still roll.
Where is the deception on here? Oh, there it is. Oh, right on the page. 25.
25.
Yeah.
Somehow you disarm them.
Yeah.
Out of the two barrier that are sort of side by side, sort of half sitting on their special chairs for their quadro butts. Not quadro butts, but you know what I mean. They're quadruped butts. The one says, "The name is Julia, dear, and
Julia.
I'd be happy if you would stay. Isn't that right?" And the one beside her is like, "Oh, yes, the name's Bex. Nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you, Julia. Bax. Wonderful evening. So what was it like seeing him the first time?
Well, if you, and then this is the high elf lady, like, cuts off her friend, like the one who's just about to say something, the one that's more friendly to you. The high elf, she's cuts in, she's like, "Well, if you had read my original review in the Times, the Sigil Times, 3 months back, it was quite detailed. His music was just in its beginning stages. It was very different. Something new on the scene that nobody had heard before, and that was, very appealing, and had a message that kind of appealed to, say, all walks of life. So an Outlands tour was quite appropriate."
And what have you thought about how his music has progressed to now?
From what I've heard, at least my insider info, which I would encourage you to buy tomorrow's edition to see my full review tonight. But from what I know, let's just say Hack has come a long way and has gone quite a large entourage. I don't know at what cost, but it's changed the music for sure.
Well, that's a glowing review, I think.
It's been better, but we suspect, he's using a lot of magic, we think, to make it, to enhance his shows, and it's just kind of, gross.
Wow, I look forward to reading your article.
She just hates you so much.
Yeah, I know. No opinion, it's fine. Anyway, so then...
No, she said she likes the music. She said that it's gotten better. She just doesn't like how it's gotten better.
And then I basically would like to see, I basically do one of these to the waitress and I'm like, you want to get a round for this whole table going of some of the stiff stuff.
Okay, there is definitely like a from the high elf and the human. While the barriers are more into Gilia and Hex or Bex, they're more into it, and they'll definitely.
I want
go
them to
around.
succumb to peer pressure. What's it gonna take? Can I persuade them?
Okay, proceed.
I'm gonna get them drunk and then I'm gonna take their stuff.
You're gonna start working again.
Persuading at a 24.
Yeah, you got it. Yep. So a round is ordered for the table on your bill.
Yeah.
More of the same. That's 5 more. 6. I'm tallying up your bill, don't worry. So yeah, they get brought over. Just pause there real quick and switch to Ness walking to the bar. Just as the server's going up to the bar to place that order. And so, yeah, you're able to walk up, and there's a couple of empty seats. Up at the bar, you see the back of the turtle person, 2 humans, man and woman, that seem to be like deeply engaged in intimate conversation, and then a raven type person, similar to the one that you saw near the fountain. Sitting beside a small goblin woman, and they're both excitedly talking to the bartender. And there's a couple of seats near that too.
I want to get in on the conversation that's with the bartender, so I'll sit next to them and just kind of try and like get
Okay.
in the conversation.
Yeah, you get the bartender comes over to you right away, and there's just like a bit of a snortle of like, or not snortle, but like kind of like oh yeah, it, like walks over, and she's just, hi, what can I get for you?
Well, I just had a fantastic drink from the Celestial Plane, and I would like to try another.
Are we tasting all the planes tonight?
Oh my god. I'm not gonna say no to a great idea like that.
Do you want to stay in the upper or the lower? Do you want to indulge the lower?
Oh.
Let's start at the top and work our way down.
What's the malform for that? Or malform for that? Let's start at the top and end up going up.
Actually, just looking something. Okay. Well, how about I can always start with my favorite, the Beastlands. A little bit of chaotic, a whole lot of good.
I trust your judgment.
You want me to send it over, or are you gonna wait for me?
I'll hang out here for a bit.
Yeah, you will.
This is a nice little spot.
I like that. And you see that before the Minotaur can go much further, the one sitting beside you, the little goblin is kind of standing on her seat. And stops talking with the Kenku beside her and just says, "Oh, hey, oh jeez, I just lost the name. Hey, Razvin, you got a new friend. Shut up. Shut up." Goes back to making her drink, and this little goblin snickers, and the Kenku just says, "Shut up. Shut up." In the exact same voice. And they have a good snicker about it, and you see the Minotaur, she visibly blushes a bit. She flushes, but like very well dressed, wearing one of those like bartending vests, but like that's it, just like that kind of tuxedo vest, you know, like the white collar, button down the front, packing it all in very tight, like not overly big bosom, just like really tightly packed in there with the vest and yeah, and pants with a little cutout for her tail. Anyway, nice ass. Anyway, she makes you a delicious drink. It seems to have, it's not quite like a Caesar. It's not like that, but it does seem to include a lot of extras kind of sticking out of the cup that you can snack on. Looks like mini something that's a cross between an asparagus and broccoli. Anyway, so it looks like a little mini forest, something like that. She says, "Yeah, name's Rasvin.
Nice to meet you. I'm Ness.
Nice to meet you, Ness. Hope you enjoy the show. Hope to see you later." Okay. You go back to the table?
Yes.
Okay. Just back at the table, you guys have been having a bit of a chat. I'm gonna say, okay, so this is, Debbie was trying to do shots with them. So we'll get to that in just a second. I'm gonna say in the meantime, you cats do notice that there seems to be more of a commotion of people are starting to settle up bills and you see the servers are practically going around and just trying to do a quick exchange of money and shit's being written down. People are kind of getting up to make their way towards the theater area. People are also filing in from the dance floor, which happens to be outside, just a separate ballroom dancing floor with like a pit in the orchestral pit in the middle, almost like an ice rink. Yeah, you see that the private booth starts to clear out, and out walks four dwarves. Four dwarves with various one with a mohawk, and another one with a shaved head, one with a big top hat, and all just bush all the way down. You can't see his face, and he's wearing sunglasses inside. And one that has like a blonde hair and big classical more dwarven braids and whatnot, with lightning bolts kind of tattooed up and down his bare arms. You see a couple of small little gnome guys that seem to be identical twins. They look exactly the same, and they dress exactly the same. They seem to really play it up, but they come stumbling out as well. Ducking under the doorway to get out of that room is a giant Goliath man, and then last but not least followed a female drow, and something with, well, we'll just say Zaza kind of hisses under her breath right away. The thing I was talking about. And she points, and it's got purple skin, it's got milky white eyes, kind of set kind of on both sides, just very otherworldly, and where there's no nose and no real mouth, it just comes down to a ridge that flares out into a number of tentacles.
Gross.
But it's humanoid in shape otherwise.
I want to have sex with it.
Cthulhu or octopus kind of monster man. Very skinny, very frail,
Maybe it'll
crooked
make
spine,
you go, "Ooh."
and very tall too. Almost as tall as the Goliath, but just like without that kind of frame, like more of a beanpole, and seems to be at the holding the arm of the drow lady as they all come out and start making their way through the crowd. The Goliath starting to like kind of get out in front of the entourage and start clearing a path to get them to the theater.
Neat.
Shots arrive at the table.
Yeah.
Okay, and like you can see that they're, the critics are noticing the general air of people wanting to go. Shots, and have you introduced yourself at this point?
Yeah, I've told them I'm Debbie.
Debbie.
Learn that name well. Someday you're gonna see me and my band up on that stage.
Learn that name well. You're just by yourself and you just hear Jinx in the background.
Danger! Danger!
Get out! So yeah. So they toast. What are we toasting to?
We are toasting to a wonderful show and this beautiful meeting of souls. I hope that you will drink with me some more.
You seem to have won over the half-elf woman just a little bit, but you do.
And the barriers, they like me.
Yeah, they like you also. So you do your shots with them, and they're very happy with you, and there's a lot of pleasantries, and they're yeah, maybe if we see you again, we could drink again sometime here.
That would
Chirpers.
be lovely. It was very nice to meet you, Jillia. Is it Jillia or Gilia?
Jillian.
Jillia and Bax.
Okay. And they motion for the server to come around and bring the bill.
Yes.
Are you doing anything else at their table?
No, I get up and go to the bar really, really quickly and get another round of drink for myself, another shot, and then I make sure that the shots that I ordered go on their bill, and then I
Right. Roll something.
something.
Just tell me which one something you get.
I want to get, like, if I can, first things, I know it's going to change the difficulty, could I get all of what we ordered put on their bill? Just, like, persuade the bartender, because I was drinking with them and having good times, that they were picking up our bill.
We had really picked up on this, but the harmonium had moved on. They seem to have headed the whole entourage of them to the Skull Museum. There's a number of boutiques in this place too. They make their way off to the Skull Museum, and you see Zarili's go in there with them. Or at least you might have picked this up. As you're up at the bar, you see the tiefling manager is actually there, just kind of slightly obscured by the Minotaur. And as you're making your pitch, smiles, says something to the Minotaur. She turns back around and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. It's on us. Enjoy your stay."
That's nerve-wracking.
And you just see the manager smile.
Tip my hat at the manager and quickly go back to tell people that this is not a safe place.
The smile widens a little bit. Of course, you see the fang, and he's like,
A tiefling smiles at you, you don't appreciate it. Straight up.
Okay, let's speed things along. I guess we missed a couple of things, but we want to get to the show. And you guys, I don't know. Okay, I know we can't go super late. I'm thinking like midnight's the latest. How are you cats about that?
Yeah, because I gotta head out because I gotta be at school very early.
Right. I figured that is.
Yeah,
It's just midnight doable.
I might have to take off a bit earlier than that. So.
But still, it's very close.
Okay, we'll work it out as quickly as we can here. Let me just change up the music because it is not dinner music anymore. There's not what is going on. Zaza's like, okay, yeah, let's go check out the show. Yeah, let's go have a good time.
Sweet. Isn't Debbie gonna come back to the table and tell us what's going on?
Sorry,
I think gonna come back to the table and tell us what's going on.
Debbie, that thing. Sorry, AKA that thing.
What are you saying now? I have a feeling Rick doesn't like
Yeah,
Debbie.
I thought you guys warmed up to each other.
Yeah, he sucked my dick. He loved it.
Okay. So you make your way into the theater. Were you guys doing anything else on the way in? Just want to know. This is your last chance.
I wink at the bartender on my way.
Okay. And kind of blushes a little bit, and you can't hear from this far away, but you can see the bell ring, the septum piercing kind of like moves a little, so you know she kind of started a bit.
And I thought that you were going to have a conversation with yourself.
That's what I. Okay, yeah. Then have the conversation. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay, sorry.
So Debbie comes back to the table and tells you this. I guess is that what you do?
Yeah, just let you know that the bar is covering our tab and that Zerelius has moved on to the skull thing and that maybe we should be very careful about who's watching us.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds very shady. That's just true.
Never trust him.
Everything paid for. I mean, that sounds great, right? Okay, so you make your way into the main theater, and
That's what it is, yeah.
the band is just starting to get ready to play. I mean, I'm already getting music on, but you see that there are a number of, like, through the passage of time, we'll say it takes a little while to actually like queue up and get into the theater itself. And by the time you're getting in there, things are getting, tuned up on stage. There's 4 dwarves, there seems to be a drummer, and a couple of, and like by drummer, he's got several drums in front of him and a couple of metal cymbals. And like we're saying full kit. And then the other 3 are wielding, or playing lutes, but just lutes themselves. One's a bit of a larger lute. And you see the 2 gnomes running back and forth and getting some things started. There's a smoke effect. A few light effects begin pulsating, and the crowd is starting to get pretty, into it, like ready for this. And I want. Okay. So I'm not gonna make you guys make a perception on this because this just happens anyway. But as the band is about to start, the first, you can see Hack is finally coming out on stage, and he's just about to take center stage, and you just hear a "Oi!" shouted just from the doors of the theater, and any of you kind of like pay attention to something like that?
Yeah.
A few of you do. You turn, and you see that goateed gentleman take this giant sack and just kind of whip around and let go at the last second. And hundreds of gold and platinum coins come tumbling down and go spilling out through the crowd. Coins just clanging everywhere, and you can hear it, and everybody just starts, like, there's suddenly a great commotion in the crowd as people are like, what, and scrambling down to try to grab it. And, okay, before I describe anything else, what would you do in that situation?
I would definitely not be scrambling on the floor and looking sharp if something got here.
How far away from us is it?
How far away? This is amongst you. Like, you guys are in the midst of all the coins being flung. So you're right there in the thick of it with the crowd, and this guy just chucked hundreds of coins into the crowd.
Make my way to the edge of the room and keep
Okay,
away
do
from
it.
the rush.
Okay, so anybody else? Anybody going to make a grab for coins or do anything else?
I want to keep an eye on the person who threw it. Did he like throw it and then go somewhere? Like where is he?
Okay, so being that's how the narrative is going, we'll continue. And basically, since you don't all duck down and start going for the coins, but instead get instantly suspicious, good on you. You watch as the gentleman just kind of like look back at the other 4 more pauldroned doom guards and just be like kind of like a and they all kind of give like a thumbs up, and then they seem to skulk off into a different part of the dining room. So from where the theater is, they leave the theater entrance and seem to go back into the main part of Chirpers.
Oh, well, I want to go see where that go. I want to follow that. Me follow that.
So you're saying Debbie Boltoff?
She stealthily goes like, guys, bad. I'm going that way.
So you are talking to your
Yeah, anyone who's near me, I'm like.
It is a bit loud, and you have a lot of people now bumping into. Can I get you guys to actually roll dexterity saving throws, please?
Oh, 19.
Well done, good.
You pass.
22.
I have a dog on me. I can't.
Well done. Nimbly getting out of the way. A lot of people are kind of rushing down now. I mean, it's real money, and it's like so much money.
17 plus. I don't know what my
That
dex is.
sounds like you got it. You got it. Well, Rick, make it. What did you naturally roll? I think you got it. Did you beat a 15? Do you think?
Oh, my next bonus is only +2. I'm gonna have to be efficient to that. Okay. Yeah, so that's 13.
Can't. 13?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you rolled a 14. Okay.
No, my dex bonus was
Okay. You take 6 bludgeoning damage from crowd. All the rest of you manage to definitely get out of the way as there's just stomping people, shoving people everywhere. Now you're trying to make your way out to the.
Yeah, I want to go the direction they went.
Okay. Is anybody following Debbie? You guys leaving?
No, I think we're walking together.
If I notice,
Yeah, probably. If I see anyone that's not following her, I just kind of like.
Yeah, I guess.
Jinx is just kind of like. "Ah."
I was spinning around in a circle with big money.
So Death collects us up.
Alright, so you guys go leave. Now the concert hasn't quite started yet because there seems to be all this confusion with the crowd, but it is starting to settle down a little bit. And people are kind of like loudly talking amongst themselves, but half the people on stage are just like, come on, like, hey, we want to put the show on. And eventually you do hear this dramatic dwarven music. The Rammstein is the flavor that I'm thinking that they kind of sounds like, so we got the whole concert in the background. So you go back out into the main dining area, and now you've noticed that there are very few people out here. There's just the staff, a couple of stragglers. Mostly everybody that was here for specifically the concert. And you see the 4 Doom Guard, well, the 5 Doom Guard, go back to their booth, and they're laughing, and they're just having a great old time about it. And like they're laughing the whole way to the booth, like chuckling about it.
Can we hear them talking at all? Make out anything they're saying?
Right? You're saying you're doing this stealthily,
Yeah.
or are you guys just like
I was
following
going,
them out? Like,
I was going stealthy. I don't know what.
well, then roll a stealth roll.
Okay. Stealth it up. Stealth it to the max.
Stealth it up. Stealth it up.
It would be dex.
Can you fail?
No, I don't think so. There it is. 14 total.
Okay.
Not as good as I would like.
Okay. And I'll say that you feel well hidden enough as you're going slinking along ahead of the rest of the group, trying to like hide behind pillars and behind tables and stuff. There's like a lot of heavy tablecloths on these, so that it makes it pretty easy hiding.
Yeah,
and,
I'm hiding.
You managed to catch just like, that was awesome. You're definitely in now. That was the best initiation I've ever seen. Jeez, you did it at the Hack concert. Badass, man. Let's have some beers.
Weird. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, imagine the same so we throwing money at her, just confused every day.
Yeah, I'm just like, where's the nefarious plan here?
It seems to be a bunch of bros and some sort of initiation.
Girl, let's go back to the concert.
Okay.
Did anybody pick up any of the points?
No, nobody did. But unless you're still in there, are you still at the concert?
No,
Or
I
did
think
you
I
get
got
scooped?
dragged off on the scene.
Yeah,
A
scoop
scoop
or-
of
I'm gonna
Well,
say,
I
I'm gonna say that one landed in
But
my
I was so
hand.
suspicious from the previous stuff that I
I
had
did-
seen.
Okay.
Did you ask that
One-
already?
You want to know if you one landed in your hand?
Well, I would have maybe. I wisdom to
He
know
was
how to
going,
choose to
it's
look at it.
raining!
Yeah.
He did have his
Did you
hands
get
up.
any like impressions?
Roll a 20. Roll a d20. See what you get. That dog. Oh, shit.
6.
Okay, you had a few bounce off your face and like it's a little bit sore. You don't think you broke your nose, but one of those coins was definitely a little weightier than the rest. And I mean, like coins and sigil come in all shapes and sizes relatively because they're from so many places. So that was a place that really valued the weight of their gold. And yeah, you don't take any damage though.
Okay.
Is Minotaur still bartending?
I was going to say for you, you do have that high enough passive perception. What you notice is Debbie is slinking up between the tables and is like kind of like has gotten closer to that group as they were going through and you're obviously eavesdropping on them. You notice that the one without the pauldrons or whatever is just laughing along or whatever and seems to like catch Debbie. Debbie's not exactly looking at that exact second, but he's definitely looking at Debbie and just it's kind of like. You see a bit of a snarl in their face and then looks up, sees you, and then just tries to put on like the fakest fucking smile. And you see right through it, and as he's going with his rose back to the table. And he's kind of just keeping that stare with you the whole way, like, what do you and all of his buddies are just like not noticing really and kind of collapsing and mugs are getting filled up with beer and you know the non-binary server gets hit on grossly and all kinds of
Just like Debbie hit on conversely.
No, but I mean like full on like trying to pull on her little chain and stuff on her face and that sort of thing. So yeah, you notice that, and then Debbie makes her way back to you stealthily, and you guys pretend like you were just standing outside the theater.
Yeah, so that was weird. I don't know what that was fucking about, but like, they're real creepy. That guy there, he's creepy, especially, right? Yeah. Well, we can either stay here and find out what they're about or go back into that concert. Yeah. Do that. Do that. Do that, and then meet us in there.
Okay, the rest of you go back into the concert? Yeah. Okay, it's a wicked good time. It is in full force. I'll get to yours in a second. It is amazing, the light show, the pyrotechnics, the gnomes are doing an amazing job. They seem to be running back and forth in front of the stage, magic shooting out of their hands, trying to create an amazing light show to really enhance the effect of the concerts. Pyrotechnics, but very non-harmful, nothing's catching on fire. And you notice that the dwarves themselves, as they're playing, their eyes have like this strange purple glow to them. And they're playing their instruments, and it sounds like that, but it sounds like a Rammstein concert. It is filling the theater with so much volume. It is magically, like, it's only magically possible. It's not plugged into anything. It's just a fucking lute, but as they're playing, it is rocking the fucking concert hall. And even the drummer just seems supernaturally loud, and they're just going at it with their glowing eyes. Pyrotechnic crew, and yeah. That's how concert is going for the most part. And then Rick, yeah, you're seeing Hack is playing and he is just shredding on that guitar. He has it straight up and down and playing it like sideways. And a bow comes out at one point and he's playing it with a violin bow and veritably lights it on fire at one point. It brings out a fake one, an illusion of one or whatever, and smashes it on stage. And you're not quite sure what the hell this has to do with music, but the music part seems really good, and you've been probably pretty impressed with that so far. I don't know. How would Rick feel? This is a new kind of music that you're not even sure this is even dwarven music. You're not. It's dwarven words to the songs, dwarven lyrics, but you're not sure like if this is dwarven culture. But it sounds pretty cool. Ness. So yeah, the concert's going full blast in the background. You hear the band of bros sitting around at a booth, and you approach the Minotaur still has their goblin and Kenku friends sitting up at the bar still. The tour is going, and nobody else seems to be gone. And yeah, you
This
approach the
time, just
Minotaur.
for privacy's sake, I approached the bar, but not as close to her dual group as before, just so that like when we do have a conversation, it's far enough that they might not overhear.
Okay. And so, what do you say? Hey,
Hi.
I'm glad I get to see you again.
Yes, thank you. I'm doing great. I'm hearing the music. It sounds fantastic. But I've never been here before. And the strangest thing just happened. And I'm not sure, does this happen a lot?
I just heard about that. Yeah. It's a Doomguard initiation.
What is that about? Tell me
The
more.
Doomguard. Okay, so you know the Doomguard shtick. It's all about decay, entropy, universe breaking down, something like some really bleak stuff. They really enjoy entropy, and as part of their initiation, for would-be joiners of the faction, one of the things they have to do is scramble 500 gold into a crowd and cause some chaos, just for the sake of chaos. It's just part of their initiation. But
So
I've seen it a bunch of times, just not usually here. But I understand with the hack concert, that's a pretty smart move. They're a shooter for sure.
It's so silly. And that group, and I'm like trying to be subtle. I'm like,
And she snorts a little bit. Yeah, them. Yeah.
Do you know anything about them? Have you seen them around before?
I've seen a couple of them around before. I don't know the initiate, but it's kind of cute. Any other questions?
Okay, no, thanks for the information.
Okay.
Yeah, it's we had never seen that before, so we were all a little bit.
It doesn't happen
startled.
too often, but it's also not too surprising. I mean, some of the other initiations for the other factions are a bit worse, so it's just be glad that it was just giving money to a bunch of random people. That's the least harmful. You make your way back into the concert hall?
I go back to the show.
Okay. You can't enjoy an amazing rock concert. Your first rock concert. You probably have only ever heard orchestral music before and occasionally tavern music and the stuff that you guys
You look
play.
like shit compared to this.
Like just full on fire blasting in the background and pretty much get this scene here. The Zaza gets lost in the crowd at some point, comes back, is dancing with you, gets lost in the crowd again, seems to move pretty quickly through there. By the end of the show, you are at that point tweaking pretty good, except for Rick. All of you would just be having an absolute blast. You'd be seeing, with all the special effects, just an extra layer on all of it. More trails, more colors than are actually present. Rick, you're having an excellent sober dad time, escorting young teens on their concert. Yeah. After the show is done, and most of the crowd is just like the third encore is already finished. The guys on stage just seem absolutely exhausted and taking no breaks whatsoever. They play for a good 90-minute set, and they finally leave the stage. And Zaza's like, "Okay, we go meet them now, right now. You come with me right now." Yeah. Okay. So she grabs your hand, Jinx, and just grabs it, just tugs at all of you. Okay, come on. And as the crowd is still trying to figure out, they're trying to file out and figure out their rides and what they're doing next. And there's music started back up in the main part of Chirpers, so dancing and drinking will continue on throughout the night. Zaza leads you through a couple hallways to the back door where you see that large Goliath man blocking the path, and she just goes straight up to him and gives him a great big hug around the neck, and says, "It's been so long, darling. How are you? How was the tour?" Canigan. Pull that up. And he's like, oh, and pulls her off. Just kind of more of a kind of standoffish type. And it's just, Zaza. Yeah. You coming in? You want to say hello to Hack? He's like, yeah, I got some friends. Is that okay? And he's like, it's crowded in there. Oh, okay. Can we go in soon, maybe? Canigan just opens up the door a little bit and peeks in and just awkwardly opens the door the rest of the way. And you see that same Doomguard initiate and one of the other Doomguards, just one of the other Doomguards, starting to walk out, and the initiate is just like, sorry, we were just leaving. You guys go right ahead. It was a great show. And winks at Debbie.
Slime.
But like, roll an insight.
14?
Okay. Yeah, just a slimy wink. Slimy wink.
She stares him down like as if the knife were already heel deep into his stomach. Like the look in her eye is like, this is what my sword looks like inside you, and this is what I'd be looking at you
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the retort look that you get back is one of like a, oh, that's and a dismissal and a walk away. That all just happens in a brief second there. But then, yeah, the
But
door.
like, is that like not an intimidation check or something?
What were you trying to do?
Well, I was intimidating
You
him
trying to
back.
flex?
I was flexing at him. Yeah. I was flexing my charisma skills at him.
No, it was insight because I wanted to see how well you read the intent behind the wink. So no, they walk off down the hallway to rejoin, and yeah, you're led into the green room. Nice loungy room, seems to be, it's already smoke filled from strange weeds being, in pipes, and a bong in the middle. Well, not bong, hookah in the middle. Lounging around on the sofas and a number of like pillows and like it's just propped up everywhere. Are the four dwarves. There's the drow, the mind flayer. There's a couple of gnomes that seem to be keeping to themselves in the corner, playing some sort of game together, not drinking or anything. And yeah, the dwarves are all kind of like exhausted looking. Their eyes are still glowing a bit. But you can't really see Hack's face, but the other three, you can see the glow to their eyes as they're kind of just like strung out on there. And you see on the table in front of the drow, on a small table, where's that jar?
Right there.
That. You see that on the table. And there's a line of it. There's a line of it out right now. And just as you're coming in, the drow is just and takes up a great big whiff, and you see this black powder that seems to have like this strange purple sparkle to it, and a little bit of a golden mix sparkles. Like it's predominantly purple sparkle, and a little bit of golden up her nose. And there's a flare of purple glow from her eyes suddenly, and a smile. And she sees the newcomers, the jet black skin and her stark white hair, the spider web dress. She's looking at, oh, Zaza, friends. Good to be here.
Rick takes it to look at sees the crowd. He ain't undercover, he's speaking to us. So, there you go.
Oh.
He
And I
really
think
does have a type.
I'm gonna have to say we're gonna have to cut it at this. It's 10-2. This scene is meant to go a bit longer, so we're gonna have to just hold it over to the next session.
Sorry guys, I have to get up super
No,
super
it's
early.
No, we're
it
all
started it late.
fucking
We're trying to do
dead.
it. We're tired.
That's It's okay. We'll wait till next time to see if Rick gets into her underdog.
Oh boy.
He gets to meet his hero and possibly
Jake's
get
is
down
kind of
with the crowd.
salivating at this.
Yeah.
This is for you.
I want what?
And then Ness is
It's
gonna freaking
Sugar.
Yeah,
go
it's black and
down
silver
Minotaur.
sugar.
And
Yeah.
Ness is gonna be
Purple and
Avenger.
silver. I was trying
It's
to
all
match
just gonna
the-
become this weird fetish thing.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's what it was always
Fucking
meant to be.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I met her Thursday.
Where
Good
did that?
session, guys.
Where
Holy
did Brian
shit.
I was just like, what's going on? I don't work
That was like the best kind of I only wrote 10% of that and you guys filled out 90% of that.
Amazing.